What? Tell me that doesn't look like a skull.
Oh, we got them now.
You better lock in and buckle up, because you're in for another creepy and scary and strange TikTok reaction video. I'm Jet Ski Chuck, and on these creepy and scary dark waters, you gotta keep your head on the straight. Swivel. Hyper mode. Activate.
Going quantum.
Quantum mode achieved. Good luck, Jet Ski Chuck. I'm rooting for you.
You know, they staged all these photos. They staged, the horse and wagon, and, they came with a hammer and a chisel, and it doesn't make any sense. There was no hammer and chisel, there was no horse and wagon, there was no Oregon Trail, there was no none of that. What there was advanced technology. Now, let's take it one step further. There's tunnels that are large enough to fit railroads underneath our feet. People arrive here after they hijack and steal all these buildings. They get in these tunnels and they actually transport themselves with whatever technology is deep down within the earth, and they get to all these cities. Then they put their name on top of these buildings, claim them, and then say this is Harvard and this is Yale and this is the first, Hershey's chocolate, and this is the first Tiffany's & Co. All these different names. They traveled through the underground part of the earth to inhabit and take over all these different cities. They're coming up from underneath the earth. That's how it actually went down. There was no Oregon Trail and somebody sitting across the wagon. There might have been. Some people might have tried to go with a horse and a wagon, but they probably...
I'm a huge fan of the Oregon Trail. Feel like the Oregon Trail definitely needs another look. We gotta dive in a little bit deeper on this Oregon Trail and see what's really going on.
Along a lonely hillside in remote western Nebraska, you'll struggle to pick out the remains of one of America's great highways. But from above, if you look in just the right places, discrete etchings emerge in the landscape below. These narrow ruts were once a part of the Oregon Trail, the Route 66 of its day. Walking, pulling carts, or riding in covered wagons, nearly 500,000 pioneers traveled west, carving ruts so deep they're still visible almost 200 years later. In this early era of the road trip, it was the natural wonders that served as the roadside attractions. All along the trail, pioneers discovered stunning landmarks, tagging them with iconic names like Courthouse Rock, Independence Rock, and Soda Springs. More than just pretty sights to look at, they served as the mile markers of their day. Along the entire trail, no attraction was more popular than this otherworldly spire, known to settlers as Chimney Rock. Piercing the air at 425 feet above the Nebraska prairie, pioneers could spot it from 3 days away. Thousands climbed up its slopes to carve their initials into the soft rock. For pioneers who had not yet discovered the immense landscapes of the American West, Chimney Rock left a formidable impression. If man does not feel like an insect here, then I don't know when he should, wrote one of the many settlers who camped in the surrounding prairie.
That's extremely interesting. What if that rock was an ancient structure? Like, what if that was like some type of pillar, statue? It definitely looks like it could have been something. Your thoughts below on whatever that rock was called. Probably need to go back and look at that, to be honest. What did he say that was called? Chimney Rock? Chewy Rock? Chimney Rock, Chewy Rock, ancient structure. You better believe it. Ancient structure.
So, this is happening. Put in my name. I am a doctor. And, we're bringing along some of our friends. Grabbing some stuff at the general store. Decided to leave in April. I do know the story of the Donner Party, so figured earlier was probably better. We reached the Kansas River crossing. It's only 5 feet deep, but I still have some money left, so I'm gonna stay on the safe side and take the ferry. We made it. We made it to the Big Blue River crossing. What a lovely name for a river. Let's see. It's only 3.5 feet deep, so I think we can make it. Oh, we did not make it. This was not okay. Nobody was injured, and we did recover. Okay, so I guess it's fine. But our wagon did sink. We made it to Fort Kearny. Hooray! Everyone's still alive, not sure how. Laura has cholera. Fucking bitch. It's alright, she's fine. We made it to Chimney Rock. We made it to Fort Laramie. I think we're still doing pretty good. We still have about 1,000 pounds of food, and I haven't even gone hunting yet. I think I'm gonna save my money. There's no grass for the oxen, there's no water, there's bad water, and Emmy now has typhoid fever. Fantastic. Oh, and we took the wrong trail. Great. It's going really well. We've lost the trail, but Emmy is well again, so that's good. We made it to Independence Rock, and no one has died yet. This is so uneventful. We reached South Pass, but Emmy does have a fever, so not looking good. We're gonna take the shortcut because we don't really need supplies. I am going hunting though. I don't know how I'm gonna do this with one hand. Oh god. Oh no, this is a bad idea. I did get some food, but I did use 9 bullets. Emmy's okay. 400 feet wide and 20 feet deep. Yeah, I'm taking the fucking ferry. Laura got bitten by a snake and Simon is sick with typhoid fever. Well, Nard is suffering from exhaustion and Simon died. But Laura's okay, so I guess it's fine. And Nard got bitten by a snake, but we did make it to Soda Springs. It's alright, everyone is well again except for Simon, who is dead. Nard has cholera. God damn it. And a wagon wheel broke. And we have no water. And no grass for the oxen. And there's heavy fog and Emmy broke her arm. It's alright, Nard is well again. Just kidding. We made it to the Snake River crossings.
Oh, that brings back memories. That used to be my game. Hunting was the best part. How cool is that? They integrated hunting with the story. That was actually a great game. I want to play it now. Shout out if that's the version you guys played or a different version. Man, that brought back memories.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the Donner Party, the famous party on the Oregon Trail that probably would have rather died of dysentery. The Donner Party, led by George and Tansen Donner, left Independence, Missouri May 12th, or a couple weeks after you probably wanted to leave to go on the Oregon Trail. Further wasting a bunch of time was taking Hastings Cutoff, which was supposed to knock off a couple weeks, but ended up adding over a month to the trip. Due to the large waste of time, the Donner Party is going to get stuck in the Sierra Nevada with record snowfall. It didn't take long for the party to run out of pack animals to eat, then they started eating each other. But don't worry, they labeled the dead, so at least you weren't eating family. Some of the strongest, known as the Forlorn Hope, went ahead to California to try to bring back a rescue group. When the rescue party showed up, Tamsen Donner was never found, and George was found with a hole cracked in his skull. In all, 42 people died on the Donner Party, and it's one of the most recognizable cases of cannibalism in the history of forever. Okay, so today we're going to
While people were traveling underneath the earth, then you had the other people who were up on top of the earth going horse and wagon, and those people perished. When you play the Oregon Trail game and that whole situation, the mule always dysentery or your wagon wheel breaks. And here's the other thing. Let's say your wagon wheel breaks and you're in the middle of the desert like I am right now where it's 95 degrees. Where do you get the second wagon wheel? How do you fix the wagon wheel? How do you get to water? How do you get to food? How do you get to anywhere? I mean, and that's the thing. Me and my buddy Trevor have hiked a bunch of these mountains in Arizona, and I will tell you, just on my bare feet, it's a challenge. Let alone if I had a horse and a wagon, and I was trying to go across, and whatever else at that time. I mean, think about that. Now I got all this materials on me. Now I got weight. Now I have, let's say, people with me. Imagine how hard it would be to travel with all of that. That's the thing. Everything was already here. It was already here. And then they just rewrote the history. Even with the underwater submarine internet cables.
Underwater cables? Oh boy. Underwater cables, you say? Oh boy. Uh-oh. Underwater cables. We're going to stay on Oregon Trail, and we're going to dig off into all these buildings. Thanks to you guys, we found out that some of the buildings say founded. So that literally means they found it. I know, right? But yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you guys are intelligent, man. You guys, thank you for that. You guys are definitely know how a lot and been on this subject, and I'm just grateful to be on this journey with you guys. Like, we on these Dark Water 9 boys together. This is not easy. Lock in, buckle up, make sure you got your life vest on if you're new around here. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps your boy out, and hit that bell. Notifications all. So as soon as I drop these, you get notified, because I'm going to be dropping these a lot more often now. So lock in with your boy, and be checking in with the memberships too. I'm going to be adding new perks to the memberships. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun with new emojis. Yes, sir. Let's get into it. Underwater cables. Yes, sir. We found them. Let's see what this says.
So here's a fun one to dabble into. The internet under the ocean. So this is a satellite attached to a balloon that just fell out of the sky. So when you think of the internet going through satellites, it's actually comedy. Now let me show you why. So here we go. Does the internet work underwater? About 99% of all intercontinental internet traffic goes through submarine cables. The ocean? These satellites are a great solution for connectivity, but don't have the infrastructure to represent a significant amount of global capacity. So those satellites attached to balloons will not provide us the internet, but these submarine cables are hooked up to the cell phone towers. So in case anybody wants to see the map, here's all the wires running through the ocean. The real question is who put them all there? And this one just takes the cake. High-speed internet on the ocean from Starlink. So your satellite with a balloon will be connected to your boat, which will connect through the ocean. So here's a fun one to dabble into. The internet under the ocean. So this is a satellite attached to a balloon that just fell out of the sky. Anybody wants to see the map, here's all the wires. These satellites are a great solution for connectivity, but don't have the infrastructure to represent a significant amount of global capacity. So those satellites attached to balloons will not provide us the internet, but these submarine cables are hooked up to the cell phone towers. So in case anybody wants to see the map, here's all the wires running through the ocean.
So literally all internet. This is literally the entire internet. Underwater sea cables. That is interesting.
The real question is who put them all there? And this one just takes the cake. High-speed internet on the ocean from Starlink. So your satellite with a balloon will be connected to your boat, which will connect through the ocean. So here's a fun one to.
So he's saying who put them there? Don't tell me the internet been here. Oh no. Oh no. Underwater sea cables. And he said the question was who put them there? Oh no. This is going to be a juicy one. We're diving into this. We might need to bust out the submarine for this. Oh my goodness.
Okay, let's think about this for just a second. Let's talk about underwater sea cables and how it accounts for 99% of our communication. Let's think about this. 1, 2, and 3. Australia, South America, and Africa. On the Gleason's map, we have Australia, South America, and Africa. Now let's go back and think about how far this is from this and this is to this. Go look at any map. There is no cables that connect from here to here or here to here. You have this little bit here, but let's go back and look at that on the. It makes a whole lot of sense because the land is close right here. But you will never see anything from 1 to 2 or the bottom of 2 to 3, only in this little section here. Feel free to look at any sea cable map. And whether you're looking at flight patterns or the jet stream, look at how what we're supposed to believe in to where on. Look how much more common sense that looks. Did you also know that we don't have 24 time zones? We have 38. And there's 24 in the inner circle, but to hide all of that land mass, they start getting into halves, up to 38 different time zones around the. Take all the time you need, guys. Not spinning on a 1,039 miles per hour, nor is Earth 4.9 billion years old. Absurdities that you were taught and which stem.
And they switched the time zones on us. If you remember my last video, are they trying to hide the land of Mu? The significance of the land of the Mu in Pacific? That's where all these airships originated. Now you guys got me thinking about giants now. Giants crafting these buildings like a cake. When do you guys drop that on my dome? Last video, I was like, man, you gotta think about these giants, you know, being artists, painting these buildings like a cake. Why would you say that? Y'all be cooking low key, man. But hey, we're gonna dive into these videos.
Did you know giant robots dive into the ocean to fix your internet? Because guess what? Around 99% of internet traffic between continents goes across fiber optic cables at the bottom of the ocean. And the deepest ones run 11,000 meters deep beneath the surface. That's 36,000 feet. They're surrounded by multiple layers of protective plating, but the fibers themselves are small and delicate, so they sometimes break. Usually from anchors or trawlers hitting them or earthquakes, but occasionally shark bites, like this one. And then either boats have to fish them out from the bottom and bring them up to the surface to fix them, like this, or they use boats like this one to drop giant underwater robots called ROVs to crawl along the seafloor and repair the cables. With increasing demand around the world for internet connectivity, new undersea cable projects are constantly being planned and deployed to expand coverage in underserved regions. So if you connect to a Speedify server on another continent, chances are you're sending data along the bottom of the ocean. Like and follow for more tech knowledge.
Man, that'd be a cool job. I'm not gonna lie. It'll be long hours. You probably would be months before you went home. But man, traveling the sea, you know, that'd be a cool job.
This is a map of the internet, not a satellite map or anything in space. Instead, all the lines here represent undersea fiber optic cables. Although satellite internet also exists, It is estimated that over 98% of internet traffic comes from undersea fiber optic cables. In fact, there are over 550 fiber optic cable routes that have been laid across sea routes worldwide. You can see these major cable routes extending along the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, along with a multitude of cables in the East Sea. So how do these fiber optic cables work? The tip of the fiber optic cable is made from extremely thin glass fibers, the thickness of which is only equivalent to a hair strand. These fibers have the ability to conduct light along their length and can do this over large distances thanks to the insulating layer on the outside. Fiber optic cables transmit signals in the form of light pulses emitted by a light-emitting diode or laser. Then, the optical sensor at the light-emitting end converts these light pulses back into actual data. Thousands of bits of data are transmitted through each wire in binary form. The undersea fiber optic cable system is often preferred over satellite transmission because of its high speed and reliability, and it rarely breaks down. Thanks to its high speed, this type of fiber optic cable can always provide and support available backup lines.
What are the deep sea cables and what happens if they fail? Well, let me tell you, man. Let's go. Okay, so to start off with, not a lot of people actually know how we get internet. No one even knows how we send a message in less than a second to somebody across the world. Like, how is that even possible? I know you're probably thinking, P-Dots, it's a satellite that does that. I can tell you now, the satellite only helps the tiniest bit, and this thing right behind me is where all the magic happens. This thing right here is called a deep sea internet cable. Essentially, it is where we get all of our internet from. Without this, we would not be able to send messages to people across the whole world. Now, one of the main reasons why they put it in the sea is because the sea is massive. It'd be very hard for people to find, and along with that, it'll be very difficult to start digging up the world and putting a cable underneath. Now, there's been times where people have tried to go for these cables, Russians, and obviously the Royal Navy had to stop that from happening. Now, these cables run all around the world, so if they fail, the world will be in a lot of trouble, and they need to be reinforced because sharks like to chew on.
I don't know why I'm just finding out about this, but did you know 99% of our communication and internet is run through underwater sea cables? Also, did you notice that there is no cables that run from South America to Africa and from Africa to Australia? Like, if we live on a globe, why aren't there that run from here to here, here to here? I think I know why. Back to the map, so think of Australia as 1, Africa as 2, and South America as 3. So here we have the Gleason's map, and the reason you won't find any cables that run from Australia to South America to Africa is, look how far they are. But bro, what about this and this? It makes perfect sense on a flat earth map, here to here and here to here. Over 99% of international data traffic is transmitted through underwater sea cables. But what about satellites? As satellites currently carry just about 1% of global internet traffic, the remaining 99% is carried by undersea cables. Also, this is a little weird. But what do y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, follow me, and share this. Let's get this out to the people. And like always, God bless. I don't know why I'm just finding out.
You know, underwater sea cables. You know, what's stopping somebody from pulling off a, mega heist?
What up, fam? Here's a fun one. Sea cables. The important part, where do they not go? From south to south, because the Earth is not a ball. Sea cables are hidden at the bottom of the ocean. They power the internet and transmit 99% of all international data, which is weird because allegedly we have thousands of satellites in space. I digress. South to south, you're not going to find any cables. Again, south to south, even though that's the shortest distance on the globe, you're not going to find any sea cables. What you will find out, though, is that none of the cables actually go from south to south if you verify this yourself, which you can do at submarinecablemap.com.
Transatlantic cable began ushering in global communications. And now tech giants are taking that undersea revolution a big step further. Here's Mark Albert.
When you pick up the phone to reach out and touch someone across the oceans, it's only possible because of ships like the Global Sentinel.
This is cable tank number 1.
And what am I standing on right now?
You're standing on fiber optic cable that's going to be laid from here towards Brazil.
E-Connectivity Subcom, which calls itself the world's largest provider of under-ocean fiber optic cable.
They're calling it the
in New Hampshire. So the cable we're walking on right now will be under the ocean carrying my phone calls?
Yes, it will. It's a good chance any call you make to South America.
The machines use water jets to create a trench, allowing the cable to sink into the seabed and become buried.
95% of all telephone and data is transferred over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
Not satellite.
Not satellite. I wonder where the ISS is.
Have you ever wondered how instant global communication and vast financial transactions are possible? The answer lies deep beneath the sea, in the form of submarine cables. These fiber optic cables, numbering around 436 worldwide and stretching over 700,000 miles, are the backbone of the global economy, facilitating roughly $10 trillion in financial transactions daily. They carry 95% of the data and voice traffic that crosses international boundaries, including internet connections, telephone calls, and even electricity to offshore installations. But what happens when these vital cables need repair, especially when damaged by sharks, fishing activities, or anchors? The process involves specialized cable ships equipped with underwater repair habitats. These chambers, when lowered onto the seabed, create a dry environment for technicians to repair the cables without having to lift them aboard. For cables less than 6,500 feet deep, remotely operated robots assist in pulling the damaged sections to the surface for repairs. Additionally, the maintenance of offshore wind farms has introduced new challenges and solutions. Unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, and helicopters are deployed for inspections and personnel transport, making maintenance efficient and minimizing downtime.
They could have a reality show protecting the wire, underground water wires.
These are the undersea cables that make internet access across Africa a reality. This is the 2 Africa cable. It is 45,000 kilometers long and connects Africa to Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. The other cables include the Africa 1, PEAC, and this cable, the Sail, which is 10,000 kilometers long and connects Africa to Asia. The largest cable owner in Africa is Huawei, a Chinese multinational telecommunications company. Huawei owns a number of submarine cables that connect Africa to the rest of the world. South Africa has the most internet cables in Africa, with a total of 143,000 kilometers of fiber optic cables. They are followed by Egypt, which has about 120,000 kilometers of cables. The cost of installing internet cables varies depending on the length, depth, and complexity of the project. Cost of installing a submarine cable can range from about $1 million to $10 million per kilometer.
That might be a good investment project. People together and creating some type of internet company, your own internet company, and laying down some wires, some submarine wires, having your own, internet connection. That's next level. What do y'all think about that? Might be on to something, man. I might need to edit this out, and we might need to, No, I'm just kidding. But it's low key is a good idea. It says, other major companies, what's that cell phone company bought one? If you got enough people in together and got your own internet company, man, that might be one. That might be a play. Man, that looks like something straight out of Decepticon, don't it? That's great copper. That looks dangerous, but look at all that copper. It's probably worth something. Man, he handling that, ain't he? He probably talking cash. Hey, I do this, man. Keep this steady. Keep it steady. I do this. Man.
When you think things will get better for Israel and for America, it just keeps getting worse. Let's talk about what's going on. Everybody laughs at Yemen for being poor, yet the Americans are poor themselves. And guess what? The Yemeni Houthis have America and Israel like this. By their throat, they're like, sit down, we control the Red Sea and you can't stop them. And nobody could stop them and everybody's still laughing at them. Maybe we should send these TikTok keyboard warriors out there to the Red Sea to stop them. We'll see what they could do. But the Yemeni Houthis have threatened that they're going to cut off the fiber optic cables in the Red Sea. Now, if you don't know anything about the fiber optic cables, these are very important because they're used for communication and data transmission globally, and they control the financial market. So if they cut those fiber optic cables in the Red Sea, which is very hard, I'm not gonna lie, it's very hard to cut these cables because they're made to withstand a lot of natural disasters and so forth. But if they do cut off these cables, they have a potential impact, a huge impact on the financial markets around the world. You know what? Just fucking cut them so that way I could hear Americans talk about, I didn't get my package on time. Man, fuck it, cut them shits. You're right.
Never stop hearing about how the internet's in the cloud, but really, it's in the ocean. About 300 undersea fiber optic cables are responsible for 99% of international data traffic. It's basically the same way we connect to each other in a single country, except underwater instead of underground. And that's how it's kind of gone since, laying cables that circle the Earth's oceans. The cables are unwound from the back of the ship, sink to the ocean floor from the back of the ship that circle the Earth's ocean.
Hold on, this looks kind of ancient. How long were they doing this? Maybe we need to type in the first cables laid. Interesting.
The cables are unwound from the back of the ship, sink to the ocean floor, and the world is connected in speeds measured in milliseconds. There are ideas to bring the internet above sea level. Along with cell phone towers, there's internet beamed from Facebook satellites to Africa and balloons lifted by Google. But for speedy international travel, undersea cables are still where companies like Facebook and Google place their bets. That's because the best way to create the cloud is still by going under the sea.
Cross-section of a submarine cable, and different functions of the cable. The internal conductor and layout is also different, but regardless of the use of the cable, the external insulation and corrosion protection is a top priority. The outer part of the cable conductor is usually wrapped with a galvanized steel laminated plastic tube, a copper sheath and a small portion of petroleum jelly for insulation and corrosion protection. It can be used on the bottom of the sea for about 25 years, that's why the cable is so thick, and when laying cables, there are floating cable ships specially designed for laying cables. The ship is equipped with a rotating cable tray, ready to carry 5,000 tons of cable for submarine laying, and a remote-controlled underwater robot is dispatched by the engineer prior to laying. The path and the environment of the seabed are determined, and the robots monitor the whole process of laying. It is worth mentioning that in the shallow sea area, in order to prevent the cables from being destroyed, the robots will also monitor the whole process of laying. There is also a special footlocker that can be lifted off the ground, which allows the cable to be buried in the sea at the same time as it is being laid, and there are currently nearly 1.5 million kilometers of cable laid in the sea worldwide. But submarine cable restoration is still an extremely difficult challenge. Cross-section of a submarine cable.
Man, there might be a great investment opportunity to get you some cables in there.
This is the world's most deadliest job on Earth. They earn $30,000 a month, but it's more dangerous than being a Navy SEAL. Meet underwater welders on offshore oil rigs. Yep, they dive deep into the ocean, where the pressure is enough to crush you. Imagine working in near darkness, with only a helmet light and frigid water all around. You're tethered to the surface by a lifeline, the only thing keeping you from disappearing into the abyss. Every breath is a struggle against the water trying to force its way in. One wrong move, and it's lights out. Malfunctioning gear. It's not an inconvenience, it's a death sentence. You weld with electricity surging through the water. One wrong move, and you're electrocuted. Think you can handle the cold? Hypothermia can set in within minutes, numbing your fingers, stealing your focus. And the currents? They shift without warning, slamming you against steel beams or dragging you out into the unforgiving open ocean. Oh, and those bubbles rising around you? Nitrogen building up in your blood. Ascend too fast, and it's the bend's excruciating pain, paralysis, even death. It's not just physical. The mental stress of constant danger and isolation is immense. So, would you risk your life for that kind of paycheck? Let me know in the comment, and don't forget to like and follow for more mind-blowing videos.
Man, how much she say? 20,000 a week? How much?
World most deadliest job on earth. They earn $30,000 a month, but it's more.
30,000 a month. Would you do that for 30,000 a month? Become a welder, underwater welder. Let me know in the comments below.
5 men found themselves in an unimaginable waking nightmare, but only one of them would live to tell the tale. A GoPro camera mounted on one of the divers recorded the exact moment disaster struck. What it unveils will send shivers down your spine. On February 25th, 2022, at the Berth 6 platform in Pointe-à-Pierre, the men of LMCS, Faisal Kirban, Kazim Ali Jr., Rishi Nagasar, Yusuf Henry, and Christopher Boudram were tasked with maintenance work on a dormant pipeline. The pipeline belonged to Paria Fuel Company, a government-owned oil company in Trinidad and Tobago. The pipe in question was a 30-inch U-shaped pipeline which runs along the seabed. It was designed to transport oil from Berth 6, where ships unload their oil, to Berth 5, the refinery. While some risk was involved, the 5-person diving team were well prepared and experienced divers. The team placed an air tube inside a diving bell, a unique habitat shaped like an 8-foot cube. The diving structure provided a dry workspace for the LMCS maintenance team. LMCS installed the cube structure over the pipe at Berth 6 to displace the water inside the work area. The cube created a pressure pocket of air that forced out the ocean water to create an appropriate workspace. Once ready, this work area allowed the crew to remove their diving gear and safely use their tools to perform their essential work. Undoubtedly, they had completed the procedure hundreds of times. As the 5 veteran divers performed their duties, it was business as usual. Until it wasn't. The company installed an inflatable plug 2 weeks earlier to protect the pipe's oil and prevent contamination. The line wasn't in service then, though it could be put into service when needed. The industry calls this dead legs, and it isn't without its risks. While this is standard procedure, the process requires intense planning, process hazard risk assessment, and close monitoring. Preparing for maintenance jobs like this can take days, if not longer. Unfortunately, this likely means the oil company wasn't willing to prepare for a safe operation. But like most employees, the 5 divers were following orders. The divers descended to their worksite, unaware of the surprise. As it turns out, inflatable plugs like this are pressurized, holding back the high-pressure air in the diving bell and the low-pressure air in the pipe itself. These events created the formula for disaster. Once Ali Jr. handed a wrench to his crewmates in the diving bell, they began loosening the valve to release the plug. The 5 divers had no warning. As soon as they released the plug, the pressure difference turned the inside of the pipe into a relentless vortex, ruthlessly sucking in air, water, people, and equipment into its depths. The power of the suction was too strong, and a torrent of water surged into the diving bell, turning their sanctuary into a death trap. The sudden influx of water and pressure differential unleashed a force that yanked the men and their tools into the narrow pipeline. In the blink of an eye, they found themselves hurtling violently through a whirlpool of water and oil for an agonizing 90 seconds, fighting for oxygen. Suddenly, they came to a stop. They gathered themselves and assessed their positions in the pipe, realizing the gravity of their situation. They discovered that the violent tornado of water, air, and oil left them settled somewhere in the line where an air pocket allowed them to breathe. The sole survivor, Christopher Boudrum, vividly recounts how it went down.
Tornado, everything just spinning and beating you up and tapping so fast. I couldn't react. The only thing I remember able to do was cover my head, like in the fetal position. After that, all I remember, I didn't even remember actually getting pulled in the pipe. I just remember going hurled through the pipe at unbelievable speeds. I couldn't hold my breath no longer, man. Throat. And you're holding your breath for too long, after a while, your body, your lungs just fight. Yeah, waist closed, you see a noise. Your body suffering to pull air. An unbelievable nightmare. Your eyes burning. Every time you try to open your eyes, it's burning. You're pitch black, you can't see nothing. Your throat burning. Your ears ringing. Your body sore. And at that point, I tell myself I was going to dead.
Their struggle for survival was only beginning. The men were trapped inside a 1,200-foot-long oil pipe, disoriented, injured, and in absolute terror. Amidst this chaos and fear, the men tried to communicate and keep each other's spirits up. However, the reality of their situation squashed down any hope of survival. The GoPro that had been with them for the dive recorded every second of their plight, capturing the sheer terror and sounds of struggle as the men fought for their lives. Chris initially believed that they had been hurled through the pipe head first, so they had to crawl backward to make it out of the pipe. But Kazim, Yusuf, and Faisal were sure they had gone in foot first, so he trusted the judgment of the majority. As the least injured diver, Chris placed his feet on Kazim's shoulders. He then instructed Kazim to pull the rest of the group together and instructed Faisal to push everyone since he was at the back. Linked together as a chain, with Chris in front, they started trying to make it out of the pipe. Squeezing their way through thick, slippery oil residue in pitch-black darkness was unbearable. Dealing with broken bones, burning eyes, a burning throat, and extreme discomfort weighed them down. Their progress was excruciatingly slow, and the end was nowhere in sight. The men kept praying and moving to the best of their abilities. They eventually came across 2 oxygen tanks with the regulators still attached. Chris informed the men that breathing the air inside the pipe could make them delirious and nauseous. He advised them to take small sips from the tank in intervals to keep clear oxygen in their system. Although they found oxygen tanks, water levels rose as they progressed. Christopher noticed that some group members struggled to breathe and suffered various injuries. Others were blocked and unable to move. He decided to check how much the water would rise if they continued. As he moved forward, Chris came to a horrifying discovery. The next segment of the pipe was entirely underwater, and with just 2 oxygen tanks for 5 individuals, it wasn't safe to proceed any further. Knowing this, Chris had to make the hardest decision of his life. He had to continue alone to get help for everyone. Chris prepared himself to tell the others. After explaining the situation to them, they agreed it was their only chance and gave Chris one of the oxygen tanks. Chris promised that 5 men found themselves in an unimaginable waking nightmare.
We gotta find out what happened next. Alright, y'all, found part 2. Took me a little bit, but we found it. Man, this story is crazy, man. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's go.
and come back for them, and left. Still not entirely sure if he was going in the right direction and how much air he had left in the tank, he swam through the submerged section with the tank in front of him, hoping he would find another air pocket soon. The entire pipe had flooded sections, and some contained air pockets. After fighting to make his way underwater, he realized his oxygen was running out based on his air quality. With his diving instincts in overdrive, he breathed the last air in his tank. As if fate intervened, his tank collided with another metal object before him. It was another oxygen tank. He quickly tried to find the new tank's regulator. After scrambling in pitch black, he finally found it, but the regulator had no mouthpiece, so he pushed the whole thing in his mouth. His mouth was covered in oily sludge. He managed to take a relieved breath from the tank. He knew he couldn't stop and continued with all his strength, uncertain how long he could survive. As he clambered through the pipe, he finally entered another air pocket. Yet, instinctively, he knew his only escape was returning to the riser. Unfortunately, this section of the pipe was half full of water. He found another air tank and reached the last flooded section before the riser. At this time, he heard Faisal calling out his name. He had been following Chris. He asked Chris to wait before he entered the last flooded section, but Chris told him he couldn't wait any longer. They had been in the pipe too long, and that their time was running out. He continued until he found the bend in the pipe that he hoped would lead to salvation. After what seemed like hours, this next decision would decide his fate. This was the moment of truth. Either this was berth 5, which was sealed off by a plug, or this was berth 6, where they came from. As he made up his mind for the third time to die, with one last push of determination, he kicked off towards the riser. As Chris continued to swim, he realized how tired he was, but he was determined to make it out and save his crew. Chris eventually reached the top of the pipe. Though he survived the ordeal, it wasn't over yet. As Christopher recounted the situation to the medical care staff, he recounted as many details as possible about the men and their position. Unfortunately, the rest of the LMCS team couldn't believe Christopher's story. The company assumed that the pipeline was full of oil and that any oxygen tanks they had would only give them an hour of air each. Rescue divers from the LMCS team dove down and knocked on the pipe, trying to find where the men were. They received the satisfying sounds of someone knocking back, undoubtedly providing the trapped men hope. But the LMCS team had yet to find a way to get them out. As the hours ticked by, the 4 injured divers suffered through their injuries, dealing with dwindling air, a curtain of suffocating oil fumes, rising seawater, and carbon dioxide. Though it seemed that Pariah Trading Company and LMCS would initially save the 4 men, a rescue never came. The company pulled the 4 remaining bodies days after the incident began. They performed autopsies, but no one could agree on when each man died. Officials decided they survived until Saturday, but some speculated that one endured until Monday. Officials launched a commission of inquiry in Trinidad and Tobago to investigate the circumstances that led to the Pariah diving tragedy.
Because everything inside my open, I rescue you. Everything inside me open, I rescue what's going on. Nobody was making an attempt to rescue me. I always somebody who doesn't know what's going on, and I always somebody who can control and see things through, and I feel like
They knocked back. They knocked back like we're ready to be saved. How come they didn't start cutting that thing open? What? That's a tearjerker. That's tough. Wow, that's the actual audio. Hold on, let me go back. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know they were playing the actual audio. This was the actual event.
You was making out them rescue. I always somebody who doesn't know what's going on, and I was always somebody who could control and see things through, and I feel like.
This is the actual footage of it going down, guys.
Yusuf, anything I can do? Yeah, buddy. What Alright.
Chris promised that he would get help and come back for them, and left. Still not entirely sure if he was going in the right direction and how much air he had left in the tank. He swam through the submerged section with the tank in front of him, hoping he would find another air pocket soon. The entire pipe had flooded sections, and some contained air pockets. After fighting to make his way underwater, he realized his oxygen was running out based on his air. Chris.
Man, that is terrible. Man, being one of those underground water workers is something serious. I couldn't do it. Man, that is terrible. All right, we're going to jump back on these Oregon Trail boys and the Tartarian waters. Let's go.
Is the real history of the Oregon Trail, all the ways you could die. Disease wasn't the only cause of death or danger. According to Oregon Trail expert Peter D. Olk, the #1 cause of injury or death was being run over by a wagon. Caught beneath the wheels if the ox got spooked. Outside of disease, crossing the many rivers along the Oregon Trail was one of the most dangerous yet necessary tasks that the pioneers had to endure. Rivers back then were not like how rivers are today. These rivers were big, fast-moving, and all-consuming. Overflowing rivers could tip a wagon over and drown people, oxen, and all their valuables. Hundreds of pioneers drowned attempting to cross the Columbia River. In 1850 alone, 37 people drowned trying to cross the Green River. But it gets worse. The biggest gamble your 10-year-old self would make. Ford the river on your own or hire a ferry. You could hire a ferryman to ferry you across the river. But here's the catch. The price of admission was $16 per person. That's $620 today. One ferry would earn $65,000, an equivalent of $2.5 million today, in a single summer, from capitalizing on these poor pioneers' fears. The trail was notorious for its rough terrain, and on particularly steep descents like this one, pioneers had to lock the wagon wheels and slowly lower them on precarious ropes and chains. Because pioneers traveled with their wagons in all weather, the wheel marks of hundreds of wagons have left distinctive trails that are still visible to this day. Some ruts are so deep that nothing grows there anymore. All 6 states that immigrants pass through in their wagons still show pioneer paths from the Oregon Trail, which now serve as reminders of the pioneers' bravery and determination for a new life. Once pioneers made it past Fort Laramie, then began the ascent into the Rocky Mountains. This also meant traveling light to lighten the load on the oxen. It was fairly common to see the roads littered with valuables and personal items in what is now Missouri. Tales of hardship and horror on the trail spread like wildfire, so much so that it wasn't uncommon for 1 in 10 pioneers to turn back. This was called go-backs or turnarounds. Mary Ellen Todd, who left Arkansas for Oregon in 1852, 96 of them turned around after traveling a considerable distance. Although it may have been disappointing for these families to turn back, they became a critical source of information of the dangers and the delights of the trail, which ultimately became a significant part of history. And that is a 3-part real history of the Oregon Trail. All this talk about the Oregon Trail has made me really want to play it, and I'm in luck. And so are you if you also want to play, because there is a brand new version of the Oregon Trail called Boomtown. So hopefully I'll see you in Willamette Valley. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to head to my school's computer lab and play some Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail, Boomtown.
You know, they were moving Indians to reservations. Then the Indians that were out, they were resisting it, you know, and it's just, and then these people are trying to make their way in this fucking wagon train across the country. What percentage of those people died that were trying to do that?
I mean, I don't know that there's anywhere along the Oregon Trail you can drive along, or you know, there's markers just everywhere. You know, the handcart, the Mormon church brought a lot of people out, and they didn't have a lot of enough money to give them full wagons, even though that's what they promised. So they made these handcarts that people would pull from wherever they took off from, somewhere in Ohio, to try and get to Utah. And so these people pulled them by hand. They'd put their wife and their gear, their kids or whatever, and then they'd pull them, these two-wheeled carts, like chariots without a horse. And, you know, one winter they left too late and got caught in the winter. And the whole trick was if you didn't make it to this certain spot in Wyoming by July 4th, you were not going to make it. You were going to get caught in the pass and you're going to die. And something like 25,000 people died in 1 year. Just mind-numbing statistics.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And it's so interesting that the early films on the West, they never covered that. The early films on the West were like these really sort of shallow surface films that were fun movies, you know, cowboys versus Indians, the spaghetti westerns and that kind of stuff. But no one had any sort of real understanding of what actually went down.
No, you didn't. The notion of getting free land that you could go farm with, by the way, nothing. You're going to go somewhere with nothing. Like, there's no stores. You're going to have to make everything. You have to figure it all out on your own. Who would choose that? Not a successful blacksmith. Not somebody that's got a nice, comfortable home in Maryland or wherever. And why? Why would you do that? You have to have no other option.
Right.
Right. All the people that came over from whatever European nation they came from, they didn't come for an adventure.
You know, they're moving Indians to reservations. Then the Indians that were out.
I'm a huge fan of Yellowstone. What was that movie? The 1803, and I think they have a third one out with Harrison Ford. You know, the whole series I love, man. It's just yeah, we're on these waters and we're uncovering stuff. It's crazy stuff.
Bro, this is crazy. After 42 years, Oregon Trail is getting an update. This is fucking crazy. First of all, it's crazy that I even wore this shirt today and they announced this. But if you played this game on the old school Macintosh, you need to be looking at life insurance. If you were born after 2000, I could give you $1,000 and you wouldn't even know how to use this right here. You probably don't even know what the name of it is. High key, it's weird as fuck when you see the shit that you played with when you were little is in fucking museums. Bro, this is crazy. After 42 years, Oregon...
I hiked the Oregon Coast Trail, 403 miles from the tip of Oregon to the California border. This took 7 days, 21 hours, and 2 minutes, which broke the female record by 15 hours and the male record by 8 hours. This is a venture I didn't know if I could accomplish because it meant hiking 50s for 7 days straight. My boyfriend was van supporting me the whole way, which meant I started my morning at 4 a.m. I walked 20 miles and Eric would walk out to meet me, and then I had a cruise spot at 30 and 40, where I put Gold Bond on my feet and put on new socks. The pain in my feet was so bad, the whole cruise spot I would just massage my feet to try and get rid of the pain. The best part of the day was walking on nice sandy beaches and through easy coastal towns and sidewalks, and the worst was walking on the busy 101. I was able to break up my 50-mile day into bit-sized pieces, and for that I was very proud. And after 17 or 18 hours of walking, I would end my day with some rice and beans or pasta or eggs cooked by Eric, and I would suffer through a painful night of sleep. And the next morning, I would do it all again. The last day, I hiked 63 miles with no sleep, moving slowly. I hiked the last 20 with Eric through the night where we had an overgrown trail section. I had an allergic reaction that was starting to impact my throat. Eric ran ahead and got Benadryl. I felt so tired immediately and ran in the last few miles despite not running a step the whole time. And finally, I'm on sand and I'm running. I have 0.4 miles left and I see the border, or I assume it has to be the border, and it just happened. Suddenly, I don't have to keep walking anymore. When the only thing I ever thought of was just making positive progress.
Done. Finish.
That's great.
California really does know how to tell you.
Oregon Coast Trail FKT here at the southern terminus. 6:02. So that's 7 days, 21 hours, 2 minutes. New overall and supported fastest known time.
No, they got it out for the Switch now too. That's ridiculous. Hey, this game looks fun. I'm not gonna lie. Dang. I did not know about that. Hey, I'm not even sponsored or nothing. Hey, that looks amazing. I would probably try that if I wasn't so busy, but man, it's just, gaming nowadays it's not the same, man, but I'm not gonna lie, that did look fun. I do want to travel more, If the Oregon Trail was a giant setup or whatnot, it's still a reminder that, it's just so many things out here you can go and see. The big, giant, beautiful world. So much to do, so much to see. Man, every day is great. A blessing.
A wagon ruts here. The wagons travel down this hill to cross the John Day River. There are Oregon Trail wagon ruts here. The wagon...
So, to the person down there that's laying down, if you see this, I just want to let you know that you ruined like hundreds, if not thousands of people's trips today. I know that to you it's just jumping off a rock and breaking your leg and ha ha ha, you're just having fun. But some people spent 2 to 3, 4 hours hiking up to see this blue water. And y'all down there thought that y'all special. And you fucked it up for everybody else. So, I mean, like, I hope you're okay. And don't get me wrong, I don't wish ill will against you. But at the same time, I got my fat ass up there to look at that blue water, and that's all I did was look at it. I couldn't even go down there and enjoy it. So yeah, may this be a lesson to anybody who's also watching this. So if you guys don't know, this guy jumped off and he broke his leg, and they had to life flight him out of there. So because of his stupid mistake that he made, they shut down this entire trail today and sent everybody packing. People that had just spent 4 hours walking from the very bottom had to literally turn around and go straight back. They wouldn't even let people rest. They were yelling at them to leave and would not send a rescue down to get this guy until everybody was out of there. So, yeah, don't be a douchebag. Don't be like these guys who just ruin fun for everybody else. Think of others. So,
what trail is this? Those blue waters? And I guess this place is called Blue Pool. Yeah. Hiking, make sure you got your hiking stick. Don't take anything, don't do anything out of measures. But yeah, hiking sounds fun. Especially you end up at a place like that called Blue Pool, so it's all worth it. Yeah, hiking. Let's write that down. I guess these are all on the Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail riding.
You got the wall.
Probably that's okay. Fuck it.
Good job, dude. That's it.
You guys survived again.
Oregon Trail riding.
Hey, that looks like a great time, man. I wish I had some friends that was out there dirt biking, man. That looks like a blast. The heck going on?
Things millennials grew up without send Gen Z into a coma. The Oregon Trail. I'm not talking about the literal Oregon Trail. That was like the late 1800s. And even though Gen Z thinks we're like battled, I'm talking about the video game they made us play at school. And you guys are probably thinking, ooh, video games at school? No, this was like not a video game. We didn't even have a mouse to play this game, okay? We were using the keyboards to navigate a computer. We were like little coders. We were bred to be happy, so we had to experience
Let me show you one of my favorite hikes in Oregon. This is Drift Creek Falls. It's this freaking beautiful 75-foot waterfall that you have to get to by crossing this suspension bridge. If you're afraid of heights, it's a little scary. That's me.
Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. What? I gotta see this. Start it over. Where is this? Drift Creek Falls. Man, this sounds amazing.
Hikes in Oregon. This is Drift Creek Falls. It's this freaking beautiful 75-foot waterfall that you have to get to by crossing this suspension bridge. If you're afraid of heights, it's a little scary. That's me looking kind of terrified, but it's because the freaking bridge moves. But then that's the view from the bridge of the falls. That's me reattempting to go across the bridge, but I finally did. And from across the bridge, this is the view that you get, and you can go hike all the way down to those rocks that you see just below the waterfall. The hike is only about 3 miles. It's out and back, so you have to go back to where you came from, but you just go through the forest and it's all flat out. So it's real nice, real easy. And you do pass this creek, which is very nice to see. The only thing is that to get up there, the roads are very windy and they're one way and you're pretty high up, so be careful. Let me show you one of my favorite hikes in Oregon.
Wow, I'm starting to see Oregon really has some amazing hiking going on. I don't think I mean, I go walk on trails all the time, but actual hiking, I don't think I ever done that, man. I think I got to start doing that. Get me some comfy boots. That's exciting. Hiking, you get some nice, fashionable, comfy boots, make sure you got your water, your snacks, get your hiking stick, get your GPS popping off, You out there with nature, you're bird spotting. I ran across a dude's bird spotting one time, and he was talking to me about how a certain species migrated from South America and was going to Canada, and we just so happened to get a glimpse of them. I forgot the name of the species, but when he was telling me that, it kind of made me understand the in-depth passion of bird watching. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when someone says bird watching, when they first said it, I'm like, man, that's, okay, whatever. But how he explained to me the migration from a bird that's from South America that's passing by, and you can get a glimpse. He had the binoculars set up all around his neck and everything. I'm just like, man, You know, okay, I get it. You know, that's something I could get into. 100% honest with you. Bird watching, yes, I can get into that. You know, I've been seeing a lot of those black red wing birds. Those things are beautiful. I'm probably gonna get some shots on it with my camera, man. Do you guys hike? Do you guys have any recommendations? Any spots you recommend that I check out for hiking, must see spots? Let me know in the comments below. I'm super interested. I would love to be on that bridge. Hey, you was headed. Tell me you wasn't headed. Come on, everybody now. Hey, come on now, everybody now. Oh my goodness. I'm having too much fun on this thing. We gotta go live, man. The lives are coming, man. I just gotta figure out what we gonna do without me getting in too much trouble, man. Trust me, the lives are coming, boy. Hey, this is beautiful. I low key live for these walks. Finding something this, imagine the energy just walking through something like this. You know, you're just walking, you're hearing the birds chirp, the water. They got the song playing, or else I'll let y'all hear it. But you got the water rushing. You know, just so many variables. It's just so peaceful and healing. You know, I might definitely take a walk. I might find my nearest place I can hike, and I might take me a walk, honestly.
Travel along the Oregon Trail, just like the pioneers did. Trail rides in Casper, Wyoming will take you back in time, trotting over the same wagon rat trails the frontier settlers originally created. You can smell the sage on the wind and see the Old West just as they saw it so many years ago. Did you know you can travel along?
It was getting a Yellowstone on. Hey, that's a great show, by the way.
Oh, it's not the same as it was in this world. It's just us. You know it's not the same. So when you gonna tell her that we did that too? You know it's not the same. And we did.
Wow, how tight is that? Elk Flat? I'm gonna have a super list, man. You gotta visit the bridge. You gotta visit Elk Flats. We gotta make some type of route, man. You gotta have your route. That's why we're on these dark waters first. We're gonna get our route, Get properly prepared, and then we go to the destinations. You don't want to keep going back and forth. You go back and forth, and like, dang it, the Elk Flats was 30 minutes away. That's why we get a map on these dark waters. You feel me?
You know,
Another one with DJ DJ Khaled. Another one. This looks straight like Hawaii. No lie. No lie. That looks just like Hawaii. Like a pine tree version of Hawaii. Where is this? Alright, I looked it up. It says it's Burney Falls. Burney. It looks like if you haven't been to Oregon before, if you were watching this and you haven't hit the Oregon Trail, I got something better than the Oregon Trail. We got the Dark Waters 9 revisioned map of the Oregon Trail. And look at all this stuff you're hitting. Look at these waterfalls. You gotta make sure to see they got a bridge with a waterfall. You got 3 waterfalls you gotta see. And, water crashing into the rocks called Elk Flats. Oh my goodness. And we're just getting warmed up. Those 4 alone is worth it. And we're just getting started on these waters. Oh my goodness.
without you, it's hard to survive. 'Cause every time we touch, I get this feeling. And every time we kiss, I swear I could fly. Without you, it's hard to survive.
You gotta write these down. Look at that lake. Wow. Man. You literally, with just the last 10 minutes of watching this, you got literally 10 things to go and see. Probably knocking all those out would probably take a few days. That's a trip in itself. Oh my goodness. A mega trip is, man, if somebody needs to knock out all of these and do it in like a series or something. What if your boy did? That would be hype, wouldn't it? Look at the mountain in the background. Beautiful falls. I hope you guys are writing this down. Go get you a pen and pad like me and start writing this stuff down, man. Put it in like your little notes or Oregon, visit. I'm not trying to promote them or anything. I'm just looking at this like, man, this stuff is gorgeous. I want to see all of it. Make sure you get a nice camera. You got extra batteries. You're charged up. Get you some good hiking boots. Do your research. Don't just travel. Do your research, because these look slippery, y'all gotta be careful, man. Keep your head on a straight swivel. Y'all know what it is. It's your boy Jesky. Hit that like and subscribe button, man. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button and that bell. Notifications. We on these waters. I'm gonna try to get on these waters as much as possible, man. But I need y'all. Oh my goodness, I can't get enough of this. I can literally sit here all day. The poppy seed. This is such a good TikTok. The aesthetics, the birds chirping. I love nature, man. This is God's handiwork. Can't get enough of this. Every time I see stuff like this is a testimony to him. I know he's real just by looking at this stuff. You can go outside and walk for 5 minutes. be thoroughly convinced that he is alive. They is up there for real. Designed all this.
The Donner Party was well provisioned, but chronically late. Most immigrants arrived in Independence, Missouri in early April to rest their animals and make final preparations. The Reed and Donner families did not leave their homes in Springfield, Illinois until mid-April. When they did finally leave, they were well provisioned. The Reed family spared no expense on equipment. They had a 2-story Pioneer Palace wagon with lofted beds and a built-in stove for heat. The Donner family had $10,000 hidden and sewn into a quilt. They had oxen, horses, cows for milk along the journey, and paid staff to drive the animals and do the heavy labor along the trail. When they finally arrived in Independence, it was mid-May. They had only one night to rest before joining up with one of the last wagon trains leaving that next morning. Because they left late from Independence, they headed into the frontier during the rainy season and were immediately challenged by muddy trails and flooded rivers. Streams that were easily driven over by the punctual settlers a few weeks ahead of them now required the party to stop at each stream, to build rafts and ferry the wagons across, costing them precious time and provisions. Edwin Bryant, hired by the Reeds to drive their wagons, noted his concerns as early as May 24th, less than 2 weeks into the journey.
I am beginning to feel alarmed at the tardiness of our movements and fearful that winter will find us in the snowy mountains of California, or that we shall suffer from the exhaustion of our supply of provisions. I do not fear for myself, but for the women and children of the emigrants. There are many of our present party who have no just conceptions of the extent and labor of the journey before them.
The Donner Party was well provisioned, but
a place like this is no place for a reverend.
All right, fine. You know, you should try to loosen up. Just once. I don't know, you might like it.
The Bible is what I like. These are the names of the sons of Abraham, according to their families, after their places, by their names. Fun. Fun, fun, fun.
She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. She'll
Get me out of there. What are they working on? What? Get me out of there. I don't know what to say here. It was, we're on these waters for Oregon Trail. Oh my goodness. That was the level of disrespect. This thing is called Miracle Workers. They got your boy Harry Potter. Is this where we've came? Is this what they need to do now for entertainment? You know, that was disturbing. I ain't gonna lie.
Caught guys, like they caught guys slipping, like some U.S. guys were trying to make their way across. They would cut their horses loose in the middle of the night, and then they would slowly follow them from a distance while they starved to death. So they'd be on horseback at the top of a ridge, just, a few hundred yards away, laughing at them. And these dudes are walking, no water, don't know where they're going.
Dang. You definitely gotta add this tree to the list. I definitely want to visit Oregon now, without a doubt. I might visit it this year, to be honest with you guys. I might be doing all this year, to be honest. Uh-oh, look how they use that word. Founded 1909. Founded. That means they found it. I had no idea. Oregon was juking like this.
Oregon Trail. It's the Oregon Trail with zombies. You're trying to get to the safe haven with all your people alive. This is the group we got. See how this goes. We haven't even left the city yet. A battery is broken. You don't have the supplies to replace it. Try trading for one. Can I scavenge? Maybe I can find a battery. What is that? What the fuck is that? Oh, I'm dead. Can I... You hit a zombie. It leaves a ding in the hood of the station wagon. That's okay. Just a little cosmetic damage. We have Allstate team. We're in good hands. Look at the sun. It's shining brightly on our... I don't know. I wasn't ready for that sound effect. Didn't like it. Okay, that's not fun either. Is that the Left 4 Dead hand? We need every man alive for this situation. A bandit sneaks up on you and grabs RJ. You only get one shot. Oh my god, no. Don't make me do it. Wait, why is my gun like floppy? It's kind of like, woo, woo, woo. Alright, let's murder him. Oregon Trail. It's the Oregon...
Alright, this is the last Oregon TikTok that we've went through. What a beautiful ending to, you know, this beautiful place. I had no idea. I definitely want to take a trip. Would you guys take a trip? What would you guys be most excited for? Any other places you highly recommend that someone would check out if they love hiking or thought any of these were beautiful? Waterfalls. You got caves and caverns, which we haven't even got into. You got Arizona hiking trails. I heard you guys go crazy in Arizona for your hiking trails. Lots of amazing stuff. This is great. That moss is beautiful.
Je te laisserai t'aimer.
How long has this been there? They got creepy places you can visit too underground. Uh-oh. Tartaria underground, anybody?
Think I'll go home now. I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
Wow, this is in Oregon? Is this the ancient tree roots? This is a must see.
Isn't it lovely? All alone, heart made of glass, my isn't it lovely? All alone, heart made of glass, my
Toke Falls.
all alone, heart made of glass, my isn't it lovely? All alone, heart made of glass, my isn't it lovely?
Toke Falls. This is what it's called. If you guys look carefully, you can see the hexagonal structures on these ancient tree boys. I'm starting to think Oregon might be a bigger deal than going to Hawaii. This is getting super hyped up. I'm sorry. This is like a low-key Hawaii. Super low-key. People aren't talking about Oregon. What? It is thumping over there. Look at all this stuff you could do. I'm sleep. I would never even dream to want to go to Oregon. But looking at all this stuff, especially this, you can go see an ancient tree root system on top of everything we just went through. What? I'm getting hyped. I'm about to be seriously planning that for when I get done making this video, chopping this up for you guys. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be thinking about when I'm going to be making this possible. I'm taking my camera. I'm taking storage, extra batteries for my camera. What? I'm going to get me some new hiking boots. What? I'm going to get me some, we can find a nice hiking stick. Get me a GP compass watch, extra inhaler. Tie that inhaler around my neck. What? Deep Forest 9 for real. Might have a new series coming out, y'all. Deep Forest 9. Be on the lookout.
Did you know? You take a drive from Portland, hike up this trail, definitely cross this bridge, and you can hang out with one of Oregon's most majestic waterfalls. Did you know? You take a drive from
If only could, I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that. If only could.
Check this out. What? That is tight. This, if you didn't tell me this was Oregon, I'd say that we're in Hawaii. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
We got a little taste of all the best of Oregon. So here's what we did on days 3 and 4. We headed downtown after spending a couple days out in nature, tuckering ourselves out. We got a late start and had brunch at a place called City Market, which was absolutely delicious. It's near Cooch Street, which is a really cool area. We walked around a little bit and saw some art, and then we headed over to Division. And let me tell you, Portland is just a beautiful and inspiring city. There's cool art everywhere, fun window shopping, and not to mention epic thrift stores. We went to, what was it called? Village Merchant in Division. It was probably the coolest thrift store I've ever been to. We spent maybe like an hour there just trying on different things, having a blast.
We're leaving Hawaii because of the thrifting. Ugh, it's $150.
It really did hurt my heart a bit, but I was very controlled. I only bought a few stellar pieces, including this umbrella that I don't know how I'll get home. Then we picked up my bestie's son from the airport, so the gang's all here, and we headed to Trader Joe's, which in and of itself is an event because we live on a tiny island that has no such thing. Barbie pasta for dinner, and then it's on to day 4, our final and one of the most epic days. We headed back downtown. I loved all the old houses, and then we stopped in Spielman's for bagels, which were absolutely delicious. We took them to go because we had lots to do. My girl Ari had a job interview, so we went to check out Powell's, this huge city block-wide bookstore with so many levels full of books. We had a blast, picked up way too many things, had to put most of them back in the end, but we probably spent like 2 or 3 hours here just partying around. They had a little cafe. It was really fun. And then we headed to Deschutes Brewery. Had amazing wings, and it was a perfect place to celebrate because Ari got the job. It was so cute seeing that moment. We got Dre some merch because it's some of his favorite beer, and then hit up the Doc Martin store. And I tell you, look, I've been saving for this trip because I knew the shopping would be great here, and we live on a literal island, and I couldn't help myself. I convinced Condreas to buy some Docs, and we headed out little Doc twins, and our lives will never be the same. To end the day, we hit up one of Ari's favorite spots, Salt and Straw, which is this epic ice cream store that sells like really interesting flavors, and they let you taste them all. Turns out one of my online friends works there. She introduced herself. Her name's Piper, and that was just so fun. I love meeting people that follow me because it just feels like we're already friends. So please, if you see me in the wild, come say hi. She made sure we had a great time at Salt and Straw, which, like, how can you not? And then we took our ice cream to a nearby park and got the rest of our Wiggles out. Next day was travel day, and I decided to wear my new thrifted overalls. It was so sad saying goodbye to Ari, but so sweet to see some of her life, and we're on to the next adventure. We spent
Downtown Portland. Looks cool.
Don't wake me, I'm not dreaming.
I see people got routes.
Like, that's a Korok puzzle, right? Should I go over there?
That's a portal, low key.
No. Like, that's a Korok puzzle, right?
No, that's a portal.
Should I go over there? No.
Or before Fortnite and the Call of Duty, there was the Oregon Trail. Or our only Call of Duty back then was trying not to get diarrhea. I mean, this game made the word dysentery a household name. We were a bunch of kids worried about cholera and typhoid. We huddled around a big-ass CT monitor the size of a Ford Explorer. Our eyes glazed with determination because we trying to reach Oregon. Oh, every click of that mouse was a leap of faith. Do you ford the river or caulk the wagon and float? Or the stakes was higher than Snoop Dogg back then. I'm a black boy in Toledo, Ohio trying to hunt buffalo. And I had the nerve to rejoice at the birth of a new member of the wagon trail. Or we couldn't tear ourselves away from the screen, sitting there trying to reach the promised land of Oregon. Or before...
Hey, I get it now. Like, I see why Oregon's a big deal now. You see, look at all that amazing stuff they got. I had no idea. You always hear about the Oregon Trail. They trying to make it to Oregon. I'm like, okay. But when you actually look at all this stuff that they got, it is gorgeous, beautiful. Definitely worth seeing.
Facts about Oregon. Portland is the only major city in the U.S. to have a dormant volcano. Highway 101 near Cannon Beach is said to be haunted by the ghost of a man whose face is covered in bandages. Lafayette Cemetery, which is said to be one of the most haunted places in Oregon, a woman was hung for witchcraft, and before she died she cursed the town. Tillamook Rock Lighthouse is the final resting place of about 30 cremated people. Mcminnville's Kennedy School is haunted by former students. Scary.
Reminds me of those ghost hunting videos. Would you guys ever do that? Be a part of some ghost hunt?
We are the reason why no one is allowed at Cannon Beach in Oregon. Why no one is allowed at Cannon Beach in Oregon at night. Hello, my name is Urban. I am one of the Cannon Beach water babies. During the day, Cannon Beach is a popular tourist destination, but at night it is known for having dark energy. After the sun is down, it is closed to the public, but that does not mean the beach is empty. This beach is known for having extremely strong riptides. It has been ripping children out for hundreds of years, never to be seen again. We are all so young and scared, and since we were taken before we accomplished our purpose, we are all stuck here. At night, when the wind calms down, we all climb Haystack Rock and cry for help. But if you hear us, do not come near. You will have to go through the water to rescue. But it is already too late, and you will put yourself at risk of getting pulled into the ocean just like us. So when you're at Cannon Beach, remember, we are the reason why no one is...
Hey, them little things are creepy.
Hey,
look, there's a treehouse.
Is that somebody on the property?
Where? I don't see.
Right there. Right there.
I don't see.
Is that?
Where did it go from a pop-up? Maybe it's just tweakers.
He is down on his knees.
What?
He is where?
Hey, look, there's a treehouse.
Is that somebody on the property?
Where? I don't see.
Right there.
Looks like they might have found Bigfoot. Was wait, was Bigfoot originated in Oregon?
In 2016, a horrifying, mysterious sound began emanating throughout the small town of Forest Grove, Oregon on a nightly basis. The sound was described as an otherworldly shrieking or a demonic tea kettle, and it seemed to emanate from nowhere and everywhere all at once. Trying to determine the source of the noise quickly became a pastime for local residents. Then, a local physics professor created a crowdsourced map where locals can drop a pin on the location at which they heard the noise and label the date and time. They were hoping to use this map to pinpoint the location of the noise, but unfortunately the reports showed up all over town, so they couldn't track the source. Some local residents suggested that the mystery noise could be an alien mothership, while others even said it could be the 7 trumpets that biblically indicate the end of time. Local governmental departments reported that their equipment was not the source of the noise, and the police and fire departments said they had no idea where it was coming from. Local police eventually released a statement saying that the noise did not pose a safety hazard, and that they were halting their investigation of the phenomenon until new information arose. Shortly afterward, around February 27th, the noise suddenly stopped. No hard evidence has ever arisen to indicate the true cause of the bizarre noise, and the noise was never heard again. In 2016,
Wow, they said one of the 7 trumpets? That's tough.
Redditors who spend a lot of time in seclusion, at sea, in the air or out in the wilderness, what's the creepiest or most mysterious thing you've seen, found or experienced? Part 1. This story takes place in August of 2013, in the mountains of southern Oregon. I am a USAF Security Forces airman, military policeman. My girlfriend was at work, and as a swelteringly hot day began to turn into thunderstorms, my buddy Nick, another military cop, and I decided to go explore some back roads and get out of the heat in town. Southern Oregon is crisscrossed with logging roads, some actively used, and many totally forgotten and grown over. Nick and I spent many of our days off starting on roads that we knew, finding roads we didn't know, driving for hours into the mountains, eventually navigating back to paved roads. On this particular day, with storm clouds building over the mountains, we set off on a road we had never been on, and began the drive into the mountains. After driving for around an hour, we hadn't seen any signs of other people in the woods. We rounded a bend in the thick fir woods, and emerged in a meadow that was totally surrounded by thick aspen groves. The meadow was perfectly flat, and eerily still. We both noticed the strange stillness almost immediately. No birds, hardly any insect noise, no squirrels, and certainly no other people. On the far side of the meadow, right at the edge of the tree line, there was a picnic table. The table was very odd, however. It was painted a bright orange, and was much larger than a typical picnic table in a park. Remarking on this, Nick drove through the meadow to get a closer look. I remember being apprehensive as we approached. The whole scenario was exceptionally strange. The overall silence of the aspen grove was unsettling. Also, it was nearly impossible to see far into the trees as aspens grow extremely close together. When we parked by the table, I hopped out of the passenger seat of the truck to check it out. I'm not very tall, only about 5 feet 5 inches. Regardless, the table was ridiculously oversized and practically unusable. The seats were nearly at chest level, meaning I would have to climb up to even sit on them. As I was looking at the table, Nick called me over to the truck, and I noticed he was looking back into the aspens. At first, I couldn't see what he was looking at, but then I noticed a splash of color that was completely out of place in the thick trees. A small one-man tent was set back in the trees, about 50 feet from the strange table. I had an initial feeling of dread, and felt certain that there was someone in the tent, and if we could see the tent, they could see us. There were no campgrounds in this area, no people, no main roads for miles. Surely someone camping so remotely would be, at the very least, a strange person. However, as we observed the tent, we didn't see any movement or hear any sounds coming from it. Nick suggested I call out too, but I did. "Hey! Anyone in there?" I yelled.
They had me at the giant orange chair. I'm thinking like a Sasquatch or giant UFOs gonna bodies or something gonna walk up and use them or something.
In February of 2013, a few residents of a neighborhood in northern Oregon filed reports of strange noises coming from the forest. The noises were described as what sounded like eerie laughter. It was loud and echoed throughout the nearby area. One of the residents that heard the sounds went outside to where they seemed to be coming from and started recording. Some think the noises are being made by foxes or coyotes, but others don't think so, saying coyotes, for example, have a much more canine-like shriek and aren't nearly as loud. It's still unclear what exactly was making the noise that night. In February of 2013,
At first, I was like, man, that's the Mark Hamill Joker laugh, the Luke Skywalker, But I don't think that was him. That was something else. Hyena. What would a hyena even be doing in northern Oregon? So a coyote. Maybe a coyote will be your best bet. Is my thinking. Coyote.
He went camping and recorded his own abduction. On November 14th of 2017, a footage was discovered at a camping ground in Eugene, Oregon, where a man can be seen setting up camp for the night, when suddenly, as it begins to get dark, he goes into his tent, unknowing something had been stalking him all along.
There's someone right outside tent.
Leave me alone! After hearing someone or something outside his tent, what looks like a pale, grainy figure can be seen trying to get in. Then, as he's trying to get away, this happens. It's believed that this footage may have belonged to a 30-year-old man named Jacob Edris, who went missing on that day near the area. He went camping and recorded.
The Grays try to get him, man. Oh my goodness. They opened the tent. Did you see those fingers? The slash open the tent? That's gonna be scary now. I only went camping once and I had a blast. And I was young, man. I want to definitely go camping again, but how them fingers crept in there, hey, that would be scary though. But the camping is a good time, the campfire, the s'mores, the hot dogs, all that, It's a fun time. Drop your favorite camping recipes, what you guys like to cook in the comments below. Or your favorite camping locations is better yet. A spot that people gotta go check out to camp.
Let's go.
That looks like a cool place to take the youngins.
Someone just blew the door open. This is what they found. Deep inside, they found more stairs going down even deeper. And these were giant stairs, not just any stairs. This is the Quartzville, Oregon one. You can see how small the people are inside of it. Even crazier are the stairs at the other exit that led to the graveyard of these hidden giant bones. No giants were found alive, but you can see these bones are clearly bigger than the average person. The exit was 7 miles away. A trail cam was posted, and this is what they got on camera. It wasn't clear footage, but you can see he's wearing something warm, or if that's his fur, we don't know yet. I live here, I'll keep you updated, but I'm staying anonymous.
Follow to see more videos that will make you say what the fuck.
Uh-oh, we're going in giant territories. Was there Oregon giants there? Were there giants in Oregon? That's the territory we're in now. Let's keep going.
The state of Oregon is beautiful and picturesque, but it is also home to some of the most haunted locations in the country. The Shanghai tunnels are well at the top of that list, and they are bone-chillingly creepy. Located under the streets of Old Town in Portland, these tunnels were used for human trafficking from 1850 to 1941. It is believed that many died down here in the dark, dingy tunnels alone, and their spirits are still restless. Many people have heard phantom voices, moaning, and screaming in the tunnels. Another very haunted underground attraction is the Pendleton Underground. It was once home to many secret businesses, both legal and illegal. The tunnels were built by the town's Chinese population, who were so discriminated against that it was not safe for them to be out after sunset. Like I said, there were many business down here, and prostitution was part of that. The location eventually became known as the Pendleton Red Light District, but it was still a way for Chinese citizens to get away from the prejudice that they were facing above ground. As you can imagine, with so much activity going on down here and some scandalous things occurring, hauntings were bound to happen, and it is heard that people hear screaming, moaning, and even footsteps coming up quickly behind them. It is also a haunting reminder of how far human beings can push other human beings into hiding. There are quite a few ghost towns hidden in Oregon, but none of them are as famous or as creepy as Shaniko. Known as the wool capital of the world, Shaniko was established in 1901, and for a long time, business was great. The year of 1911 was a devastating one for Shaniko. Their mayor was shot and killed, and the railroad line relocated, leaving them in the dust. Today, it is a town of old relics and a few remaining residents who are very proud to be there. But, as with any ghost town, there are also some ghosts hanging around as well. There seems to be discrepancy on exactly what the hauntings are like, but it is said that if you walk into some structures, you can still feel the souls of those who lived there long ago. You might even get your hair pulled. And last but certainly not least, we have the Flavel House in Astoria, Oregon. At one time, the Flavels were the most influential family in Astoria because of their contributions to the community as well as, their money. Eventually, Harry Flavel, the son, inherited the house from his father, and he and his family moved into it, and things quickly went downhill. In 1947, when Harry was only 20, the neighbors heard screaming coming from the house, and fearing the worst, they rushed over. They found Harry's mother, Florence, screaming from inside a locked room, and Harry had a hatchet in his hands, attacking the neighbor. This earned him the nickname Hatchet Harry, but even still, Florence wanted to protect her baby boy and said the neighbor was just drunk and had no idea what he was talking about. This was far from the only violent act from Harry, though, and eventually it caught up with him. He was sentenced to probation and moved out of the mansion, leaving it abandoned. Many believe that the mansion is haunted today, and I have to say, if Harry's outbursts and violence were made public, even with his wealth, I only wonder what happened behind closed doors. What do you think? And have you been to any of these locations? The state of Oregon is beautiful and picturesque, but it is also home to some of the most haunted locations in the country. The Shanghai
What if you did end up going to Hatchet Harry's place and you just start hearing yells and stuff? Man, that would be scary. No, I haven't been to none of those, but, you know, in a group, I might, you know, if it's about 9 of us, if it's about 9 of us, we'll go in strong. We need all the paranormal equipment. We need night vision. We need all that.
The creepiest place in every state, Oregon. The Shanghai tunnels under Portland, said to be one of the most haunted places in the world. These tunnels stretch for miles, and were built to make it quick and safer for cargo transporters to transport goods from business to business. But this quickly became unsafe as these tunnels became hot grounds for illegal gambling, murders, and kidnappings. Ship captains would even pay criminals to kidnap people which they could then use as crewmates for their boats. Which is where the word Shanghai comes from. It means to kidnap and enslave someone. One of the visitors even claims hearing the voice of a little kid, and then being pushed to the ground from behind, but when he turned around there was no one. Another witness claims hearing a little kid calling out to someone from complete darkness. Would you want to visit?
No, he said he got pushed on the ground and he looked over. Nobody was there. Oh man, I might have to get my paranormal on, man. We might have to jump in some of these paranormal videos, man. That is hilarious. It's not funny, but someone get pushed on the ground and he like gets up like, man, who pushed me, man? He look, ain't nobody there. That would be wild. Look at this dude. This dude is looking crazy with the bow tie. No. No, what? We might have to start digging off in these paranormal boys, I see. $2,000-year-old tree stumps? Interesting. What are those? Is that what they are? Protruding like that?
Have you seen this video? Did you see that? Don't worry, I'll slow it down. If you listen closely, you would have heard the cry of a baby. That thing there was shaking the bush, trying to lure them in with the cry of a baby. Thank God they waited and didn't go too close. What do you think that thing is? Let me know in the comment section.
How creepy is that? Trying to lure them in with a cry?
Have you ever heard of Portland?
Here are the scariest things to happen in your state. Today,
Since I've basically been bullied into it by comments, I'm doing Oregon. This true count takes place in La Grande, Oregon, which surprisingly is not a Taco Bell order. However, the hotel we're looking at is called Hot Lakes Sanatorium, and it was a destination for very wealthy people. It also doubled as a medical treatment center as well. This hotel burned down in 1934, and ever since then, things have not gone very well for them. This hotel acted as a World War II flight school, a nursing home, and an insane asylum. This place was abandoned in the 1990s completely. However, it is available to visit to this day, so if anyone wants to take a trip, I'm game. People report, though, that they hear footsteps all around the hallways, that they hear people crying. There's even reports of a gardener who took his own life when he worked there in the 90s, walking around the garden and even into the hallways a bit. Comment below what your state is and if you have any creepy stories to share. Here are the scariest things to happen in your state.
Have you ever heard of Portland, Oregon's Shanghai Tunnel? The tunnels are over 150 years old, and they were built to transport goods under the city instead of in the traffic of the city. And now these tunnels are considered to be one of the most haunted locations in the world. Way back in the day, when most goods were still shipped, sailors would often skip out on their captains because they were afraid of a long life at sea. But this would often leave captains with not enough sailors to leave port. So in order to fix this problem, they would kidnap well-bodied men to either face starvation or take $50 to sail with them. But when men became aware of what was happening, they would frequent the bars less and less, so captains turned to kidnapping women. So you can only imagine how many people died in these tunnels. People who have explored these tunnels say that they just feel like somebody is watching them from the shadows. They get goosebumps and chills the entire time they're in there. There is also a spirit named Sam that many people have claimed to encounter. Sam likes to turn the lights on and off in some parts of this tunnel. And he also likes to move things around while the guests are walking through. Many people have claimed to see full-body apparitions of him. One tour guide said that he heard someone calling out the name Sam over and over, but it wasn't anyone from the group he was guiding. Many people have claimed to feel ghost fingers touching their shoulders. And Sam also reportedly likes to tug on your clothes and trip you on occasion. Most people think that Sam is a nice ghost, but some people think he's a little bit of a trickster too. So would you explore these tunnels? Let me know down in the comments and follow for more creepy things.
The Shanghai tunnels. We gotta dive into that. I already got it written down. We gotta dive in. Let's keep going on Oregon. Oregon's juicy. I didn't know Oregon was this juicy, man. Y'all should have said something earlier. We was on the Oregon Trail and look what it popped into.
A Eugene, Oregon man survived a scene straight out of a Final Destination movie after a saw came flying across a parking lot directly into the door that he had just gone through. Surveillance video shows the man walking into a convenience store when just moments after the door is closed, the saw skids its way across the parking lot and wedges itself right inside of the door. According to multiple reports, the saw blade had come loose from a nearby construction site.
Look at this. Can you imagine? That thing's got speed. It lodged inside of it. Like on some Final Destination. It just lodged in and it just wiggling there. Look, that thing had speed. That reminds me of that movie Wild Wild West. When that evil dude shot that saw at him and he was running. And it was zipping through everything. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Man, Oregon, buddy needs to go pray. He needs to, he definitely had someone looking out for him.
Eugene.
Most mysterious giant cave door entry open. A mountain climber accidentally opened it while rock climbing. Locals and sheriff entered to explore a little, and this is what they saw.
What? Oh my god.
You guys asked for more.
Meanwhile, another cave door mysteriously.
Y'all trying to set us up on this creepy and scary TikTok. That was entertaining, but let's watch it again. Y'all tried to really set us up. That was a scene from a movie. I don't know about that.
A mountain climber accidentally opened it while rock climbing. Locals and sheriff entered to explore a little, and this is what they saw.
You guys asked for more.
Meanwhile, another cave door mysteriously opened on the south side of the mountain.
Out in the middle of nowhere with this big stone porch. In giant proportions. It is. In the canyonlands. In the valley from...
Could there be different types of beings in there?
Follow to see more videos that will make you say what the fuck.
Most mysterious giant cave door.
Just see that thing crawling through that tunnel. I'll be terrified, man. What would you do in that situation? I mean, granted, you wouldn't be diving in a narrow thing in a cave to begin with, but say, bam, you in the cave and that thing coming at you. What would you do? You know, it's got sharp teeth, black eyes. What would you do? Yes, that is definitely a door. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Zoom in on that. I don't know if you're on your phones, but you can put your 2 fingers and zoom in on this right here. You see that door up there? That's definitely an ancient door. 100%. And you can just go to this place. What is it called? Look at what they're saying. At the end of October, TikToker RB D-Cell. They said, look, he deleted all his videos. Why didn't anyone film through the slot in the door? That's a good idea. Fly a drone up there. He said, bro needs to be careful. All his videos are gone. What?
There. Right up there. That thing was open. It opened completely up, and then it closed back up. And there's a little slot in it right up there. You can see that little slot where it looked like somebody was staring out of. Dude, giants are freaking real. I don't care what any. Right up there. That thing was open. It opened completely up there.
He's pointing to the slot. This is in Oregon? Whoa. What are y'all got going on? There's so much wooded area and so much mountains, you know? There's no telling. We need closer pictures. This is in Oregon? I said the giant is watching his ring cam. That is hilarious.
That does sound hollow. So he just knocked on the door and he said it sounded hollow.
Uh-oh.
That does sound hollow. So he just knocked on the door and he said it sounded hollow.
Yeah, because you could tap on it and feel the vibration.
Right. You can tap on it and feel the vibration, guys. He's literally right by the eye hole.
Oh yeah, he's going for it.
Oh no. Well, Lord, protect him.
The anxiety really bad.
It's just so, like, mossy and slippery, like, for him to try to get...
His shoes off.
He took his shoes off?
Oh, wow. He's up there. That's how big the door is. That's somebody right there. I didn't realize that's how big the door is. Are you kidding me? Oregon.
Off?
Yeah, so
he
barefoot? Yeah,
he
so
just
had better grip.
Oh my gosh, he's probably free. His shoes just fell, girl.
No.
Oh, I thought, I was like, that was his
I think
shoes?
he took his shoes off up there.
Oh, okay.
That
Man.
first ledge. Oh, maybe he might have his shoes on. I don't know. What?
He said it's
He's trying to see
hollow.
what's inside.
Inside what?
The door, I guess.
Inside the crack in the rock?
I guess, yeah.
So someone put out a TikTok that they saw the door open, and so ever since then, everyone's been coming out here trying to see if it's real or not. If there's a door up there. So supposedly
He's laughing, but what if that was one of the, somebody that might be working for somebody, He's like, oh, what are you guys up to? Just trying to play Slick Willie with them. Oh, so you guys are really up here trying to figure, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that guy might be undercover, low key. That just asked him what's going on.
the hinges are on the right and the door opened and it was cracked on the left.
Y'all talking too much. Just tell him y'all out there. Just tell him you're trying to get a good photo of this beautiful rock structure. That's all you had to say. You're saying too much.
It got like 6 million views.
What?
And so he's up.
Babe! Sam's yelling at you.
You should have been down here, man.
You don't even have TikTok!
I got you guys. I'm gonna tag you.
So did he find hinges yet?
I'm not sure what. I have no idea what's going on.
Everybody's seen it open. It's gonna be in there.
Jeez, all that stuff falling off.
From there.
He's almost to the bottom. Wow, that actually didn't even take him that long to get down to the bottom of the door.
I'm sure he does. Not the brightest. Not really sometimes.
Yeah. Giant, yeah, right there. So, okay, he's at the bottom of the door. He made it. Does it feel like the guy that went to the moon for the first time?
He's at the bottom of the door!
He's at the bottom.
This is golden. They are right in the crack of this door, you know? This really is a door. This right here is a door.
He's gonna head down this way into the front to get a different view.
It's gonna be dark here in probably about an hour. Just giving you guys a heads up.
It's gonna be like dark in like an hour and a half.
Probably an hour.
Yeah, we're in a darker valley. It's 3:30.
Oh yeah, it gets dark at like 4:30. Oh.
Could you see the end of it?
Weird.
It's a huge crack.
I think that's what he said, yeah. You can't even see the other. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like it's hollow. Okay, he's like down at the very bottom now. Dude, that is a huge door, dude. Look at how big that is compared to us as humans.
He's like 6 foot tall, so not
Wow.
small.
They didn't tell you about this giant door on the Oregon Trail, did they?
He's just like roaming around now.
Should have brought a motherfucking blanket.
Yeah, I bet he's freezing. He doesn't have shoes on and he has no coat or anything, but he's cold.
His adrenaline's probably going.
Yeah. No big footprints. That does sound hollow.
That is a giant door. What do you guys think this is in Oregon, man? I am extremely interested.
I'm okay. Whatever up there, that's just an indent in the rock, but.
There's no telling what's out there in those woods, you know? There's so much of the woods isn't really discovered like that, you know? There's no telling what's hiding under all that vegetation, you know? There's no sound but, you know, music banging on this video, by the way. Man, that is a drop.
So there's a big crack in the wall that I couldn't see all the way back
To the top. This is the gentleman that made it to the very top of the door. How does it feel to make it to the top?
Oh, it feels great. I got a little bit of blood, but I'm okay.
Woo! They made it. What did you see up there?
So there's a big crack in the wall that I couldn't see all the way back in there. Where that eye is or whatever up there, that's just an indent in the rock, but yeah. I didn't see no footprints, no nothing.
Okay. Cool. No button up there to open the door?
I checked around. There's a couple little caverns and stuff, but...
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Wow. He went up in there. They were thorough. They said, hey, was there any buttons or anything in there? Oh, great idea. You know?
So there's like a lot of deep holes and crevices. So there.
My question is if a giant actually comes out of this door, what's the plan then? What's the actual plan if this... Who disturbs me? You know, what's the plan then?
there's like a lot of like deep holes and crevices around the door, and so he's trying to get in one of them right now. But he did say that when he knocked on the door that it sounded very hollow, and there's a lot of random holes and cracks all over up there. And even knocking lower on the rock, it sounded really hollow as well. Anybody home?
There's the big crack in the wall. What'd he say? I'm guessing. Has anybody seen it open? It's
what?
gonna be in there. From there.
Oh.
Did you take a picture in there? Yeah. Baby, I think you're gonna be TikTok famous now. I'm serious.
So
Okay, so this is a very interesting find. About a mile or two from Noah's Ark, there are the ancient ruins of what they know to be Noah's ancient home. And the reason they know this is because there's a marker outside of these ruins. It's a giant stone with an inscription of a rainbow. Underneath the rainbow is a ship with animals coming off of it. And then there are 8 carved crosses representing 8 people that came off of the ark. And this was taken from a site that was a dug-up grave at those ancient ruins of Noah's home.
December 27th, 2022. Storm on Oregon coast. Sneaker waves. Run. December 27th, 2022.
In April of 2020, a kid named Noah decided to go truck camping in the forests of Sun River, Oregon. He was driving down the road when he thought he found a good spot and drove deep into the forest with his truck. His first night there, he was woken up to sounds outside. As he continued listening, he realized they were footprints, and from the pattern assumed it was a person. He grabbed his nearby GoPro and started filming.
I'm currently sleeping in the back of my truck right now. I don't even know what time it is. And there's someone walking around my truck right now. If you can hear that, it's pretty loud. He's been walking around for like 20 minutes already. I don't really know what to do. I'm a little freaked out right now. And it's like pitch black outside. And like, this doesn't make any sense because I parked somewhere where you couldn't see. No one was on that road. Wait, he's touching my truck. How am I supposed to get him away? He's literally knocking. He's literally knocking on my truck. The canopy, the back door's locked. I've never been scared before ever. I don't think he knows that there's anyone in here. I'm so scared right now. He's literally peeking through the door right now.
In April of 2020, a kid named Noah decided.
Oh no. He gave him that last knock like I'm coming. Douche. Oh no. Oh my goodness. You gotta have something with you, man. You out in the woods by yourself, man? Oh my goodness.
Legend we'll be talking about in April of 2020, a kid named.
The urban legend we'll be talking about today takes place in Cannon Beach, Oregon. The Bandage Man legend has been around since the 1960s, And it all started when a young couple parked their truck near Cannon Beach. The teenagers were oblivious to their surroundings, and while they were making out, the truck shifted almost like someone was climbing into the back of it. They saw a disfigured man covered in bandages hitting the back of their car. They saw the man trying to get in and they took off. They drove a few miles with the man still in the back of their truck hitting it. And then he disappeared, nowhere to be found. After this incident, everyone started seeing the Bandage Man. Everyone would say the same thing. It was a man covered in bandages, smelling like rotten flesh. And it's said that he would leave behind bandages covered in blood. Legend says he would feed on dogs and small animals, and sometimes people. It's believed that Bandage Man was a logger who died gruesomely while on duty. To this day, he still prowls Highway 101, and you might get a visit from him, so be careful. The urban legend we'll be talking
The Bandage Man.
Have you ever heard of Oregon State Hospital? This facility was built in 1862 and it has a pretty horrid history. Along with overcrowding, this hospital was known for its horrible treatment of patients. The doctors here would use things like electrotherapy and lobotomies to try to cure patients. It is also known for the tunnels that connect under the facility itself. They claimed that this was used to transport the more dangerous patients, but it turns out that this is where they performed some pretty wild experiments. These experiments were done on the patients, of course. The facility would eventually close, but now people claim that it's very haunted, and who can blame them for its pretty terrible past? People say that they hear moans and footsteps coming from inside the corridors, and they've also seen doors open and closed by themselves. So what do you think? Do you think this place could be haunted? Let me know down in the comments and follow for more creepy things.
I wonder when this facility was built. This tower right here is interesting.
Pay attention to those areas right there. Because after it walks through the trees like it, right there, it walks out of that clearing. So there's me zooming in. But people couldn't see that, so I zoomed in even more right here. But it was moving faster than that. That's
good
down.
footage.
Watch the dogs right here. They kept looking up. See that up in the clearing right there? I caught that later, and so I zoomed in on that. It doesn't go, it goes out, but here's, if you zoom in too much, it really distorts it. I don't know what it is.
That's Bigfoot. We found him.
Pay attention to those.
Hey, y'all remember this one right here? The guy that goes missing in Oregon? Watch this.
Guy goes missing in Oregon, and the last thing he caught on camera is terrifying.
Deschutes, Oregon. Well, close to Bend, Oregon. I brought the 8-person tent, or the 6-person tent. I haven't pulled this thing out in a long time, so I thought first of the season I should pull that out, give it a go. It's about that time. Sun is setting. It's about 8 o'clock. Should be dark out here in less than an hour. We can get a little bit over there to the trees. Beautiful night. Definitely going to be turning in early though. I've been woken up by god noises. Yeah, you can hear it. It's up from that side. Sounds right outside the tent. There's something right outside the tent. That can't be. That gets us. That's someone's messing around with the rocks out there. Jesus Christ. Leave me alone! flashlight. I can't see a god thing outside this night vision. Jesus Christ. I don't know where the chased me off. Now I'm wandering the god darkness. Flashlight. Jesus Christ.
Hey, y'all remember this one right here? The guy that goes.
He said, "Leave me alone." Oh man, you know you in trouble if you gotta hit one of those. Leave me alone. It's time to start bucking.
A local man went out to a
Terrifying murders in the state of Oregon.
Scary facts about Oregon. Portland is the only major city in the U.S. to have a dormant volcano.
Scariest legends in Oregon.
I saw something scary.
The Bandage Man. The Imps of Marabute. The Possession of Ophelia.
Daddy, I think there's a spider on my floor.
UFOs of Mcminnville. Scariest.
Damn, that looks like a skull. How do we miss that? Y'all see that? Am I tripping? What? Tell me that doesn't look like a skull. How did we miss that? Yo. Dang. That got violent quick. Look at how raging the water was. That's damn near busting up the street.
Nobody still knows the motive as to why Michael Maiden spiked the drinks of
Portland, Oregon, the scariest clouds you ever seen. Portland, Oregon, the scariest clouds.
A lot of people are curious to know what it's like to live near a major wildfire. Each one of these clips are taken during the day when there should be blue skies. Ash floats through the air, and smoke fills your house. The smoke puts some areas into complete darkness. Streetlights turn on, and the sun disappears. A lot of people are curious to
Tell me this doesn't look like a Sith Jedi temple. This is a Sith Jedi temple. That's what this is, but in real life. Oregon, you are extremely interesting, and what are you working on?
Scary facts about Oregon. Portland is the only major city in the U.S. to have a dormant volcano.
Don't panic, turn around.
Creepy, Unexplained Sounds, Part 13. Late at night, truck driver Danny Ramirez was driving down Highway 97 in Oregon. Feeling tired, he stopped at a rest area to get some sleep. But while sitting inside his truck, he begins to hear the horrifying cries of an unknown creature coming from deep inside the woods.
What the heck is that? What the absolute fuck is it? Starting to regret that I stopped at this rest stop.
Creepy, Unexplained Sounds, Part 13.
What is that sound at that rest stop? Did y'all hear that? What? You know he wasn't faking it because he's just at a rest stop trying to get home. Man, I'm sure these truckers have some good stories. If you guys are out on that open road, tell me if you guys seen anything or heard anything crazy in the comments below. My truckers, I want to hear these stories.
Late at night, truck driver
Come with me to visit the real Halloween town. We went to St. Helens, Oregon. It's this small town like an hour-ish outside of Portland where the Disney classic Halloween Town was filmed. And they transform it back into Halloween Town for this time of year. We saw the cute little downtown area, the movie theater, and of course, the iconic Halloween Town Square. The Disney Channel child inside of me was screaming. It was so cute, so nostalgic. I had no idea that this was actually a real place and not just like a set that they built. But Halloween Town is real, y'all, and it was even complete with the giant pumpkin and Benny the taxi driver, which was absolutely my toddler's favorite part. She loves skeletons, and we watched part of the movie before we went, which got her so excited, and she talked specifically about Benny like nonstop. So this little photo op there just totally made her day. She also got to meet a mermaid. We walked through some decorations and did some shopping. I picked up this cute Halloween Town shirt for a souvenir. And this shop where I got the shirt was also actually a filming location for Twilight. St. Helens was used as a stand-in for Forks in a few scenes in Twilight. So they had these plaques about like which scenes from Twilight and Halloween Town were filmed throughout the town. And on our way out, we also checked out Bella's house, which was just down the road. That was so cool. The whole experience was super nostalgic, super fun. I love Halloween Town and Twilight. So it was just a really fun family adventure from Portland. Come with me to visit.
Wow, how cool is that? I didn't know that Twilight was filmed there. You know, the scenery on Twilight, you know, looked nice. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Nice. Definitely want to go check it out. If there was a Twilight house, I'm like, hey, why not? I want to see it.
Check out the size of this stranded jellyfish. This thing is huge. It is slimy and it's going back in the water. Go float to sea. Yo, that was the biggest jellyfish I've ever yeeted back in the water. After picking it up, this is what it did to my hand. Be sure to drop a follow if you love ocean animals. Check out.
Wow, what is that? Like a dust storm? Seeing the sky get red and black like that, yikes.
Secret doors were hidden in plain sight. This is proof. Secret doors were hidden in plain sight. This is proof.
Oh, we got them now. What are they going to say about this now? Even stranger is what nearby residents are seeing.
Wow, where is this? Oh, this is Beacon Rock. If you're looking for this, it's called Beacon Rock. Yo. Whoa. I love bridges. It's just you riding when you're going across long bridges like that. Lock in and buckle up. That's all you can do. Damn, did they catch something? On that last clip, did they catch something in that photograph? White noise? You tell me. Maybe is what I think. Maybe. Wind turbine, if I had to say so. What in the world is this? A gulpster?
This is the scariest thing that ever happened to America.
Okay, we all know that America had a lot of scary things happen to it. But what I'm about to tell you has to be the scariest thing ever. On August 29th, 1968, every single TV in America shut down.
And a demonic whispering was coming from every single TV in America. Many people believed it was the devil trying to get across some sort of message, but nobody really understood it.
This lasted for about 25 seconds, then all the TVs came back on. To this day, nobody knows what caused it or why it happened, but every single person believed it was the works of the devil.
This is the
And it goes like this. Look at you coming to me to kiss me. We talk for hours and night on the backseat.
Creepy Urban Legends Part 11. Cathedral Park in Portland, Oregon. This is one of the most photographed parks in Portland due to its unique location and the stunning architecture of the bridge. But in 1949, a 15-year-old girl was taken from the bus station near the park. Her body was discovered near the riverbank 6 days later. According to some neighbors, her screams could still be heard echoing through the park at night. Her killer was later identified as Morris Leland, who was an ex-convict. He was found guilty of her murder and executed in 1953. There have been multiple reports from businesses near the park of a girl screaming when the sun goes down, with police being contacted only to go to the park and discover nothing. Imagine hearing her screams coming from your window at night. Let me know what state you'd like to hear next. Portland, Oregon.
Cathedral Park, you said.
Things to do in Portland, Oregon. Cathedral Park.
Cathedral Park, you looking real suspect. How long have you been there, Cathedral Park?
Things to do in Portland, Oregon. Cathedral Park.
the country, Portland is home to many different parks. Home of the biggest and smallest park in the country, Portland is home to many different parks. Located in North Portland.
Why am I getting Statue of Liberty vibes when I'm seeing this for the first time? I'm like, this is Statue of Liberty vibes. I wonder, does this say founded anywhere? Does the Statue of Liberty say founded on it?
Home of the biggest and smallest park in the country, Portland is home to many different parks. Located in North Portland on the banks of the Columbia lies Cathedral Park. Underneath the St. John's Bridge, this park is the perfect place to spend a warm summer day. With picnic tables, a boat ramp, and even a small beach, there's no shortage of things to do here. The park hosts many community events, festivals, and concerts like the upcoming Jazz Festival. While you're exploring the area, make sure to stop off at Cathedral Coffee to get some fuel for your day. With plenty to explore in the neighborhood, go out and spend a day in St. John's. Home of the biggest and smallest park in the country, Portland is home to many different parks. Located in North Portland on the banks of the Columbia lies
Cathedral Park Jazz Festival? Hey, I might see y'all there. We might need to do a meetup there, low key. Doesn't that sound fun? Cathedral Park Jazz Fest? Man, that'll sound like a blast, man. We will be getting busy.
Cathedral Park, Portland, Oregon. Cathedral Park is known for being one of the most haunted places in Portland, Oregon, primarily by the ghost of Thelma Taylor. On August 5th, 1949, 15-year-old Thelma was waiting for a ride to go on a bean-picking trip. She was then abducted by ex-convict Morris Leland at 4:15 a.m., who forced her into a stolen vehicle. Janet Donaldson, Thelma's friend who was supposed to join her, called Thelma's parents to notify them that she never showed up. It was here that the search for Thelma Taylor began. It was rumored that she was raped and tortured for 7 days, but this never happened. Leland had Thelma captive for 24 hours in a brush before killing her. He kept her on the bank of the Willamette River for the night. The next morning, there was a train stopped on the tracks, and the workers of that train were switching cars. Thelma screamed for their help, but Leland struck her on the head with a steel bar multiple times and stabbed her with a knife twice. He wiped his fingerprints off of Taylor's lunch pail and collected cigarette butts. Leland ended up confessing to the police and was sentenced to death in the gas chamber of the Oregon State Penitentiary. On summer nights, people can hear a female screaming for help. People that live around St. John's believe that this is Thelma's spirit. Other details of Cathedral Park are that it was once a spot for drug deals, prostitution, and other savory actions, possibly Shanghaiing, since the Willamette River is right next to the park. Cathedral.
Creepy Urban Legends Part.
Things to do in.
Today, I'm going to take you guys to the most haunted location here in Portland, Oregon. We are going to the Shanghai tunnels, which are directly... Today, I'm going to take you guys to the most haunted location here in Portland, Oregon. We are going to the Shanghai tunnels, which are directly underneath the Old Town Pizza Company. While today it's a fully operating restaurant and bar, it used to be the Merchant Hotel, built in the 1800s. We started by admiring the rustic decor and waiting for the rest of our tour guests. Then we were guided through the courtyard to admire more decor, and our guide told us spooky stories all the way down to the basement. Here's a sneak peek at what their basement looks like. They typically use it for storage, but we also got a chance to see some really cool artifacts that were found during excavation. As we made our way into the tunnels, we were offered miniature lanterns, which unfortunately didn't provide much light because it is pitch black here, as you can see, so I highly recommend bringing your phone flashlight. There were holes in the floor that added to the whole experience, and here's me walking down some really steep stairs. Once you get back underground, you can see all of the original building construction, and here's the original elevator where a girl fell 3 floors to her death back in the day. Also some stairs leading to nowhere, which was eerie, and of course includes a replica of the cells they would hold these poor people in. This was glass found in the basement from the original Merchant Hotel. At the end of the tour, you get to have an underground beer tasting. So me and my friend are drinking our beers and decided to take some pictures with the ghosts that weren't there in case we caught anything on camera. When you're done, you make your way back up into the light of the world and they give you a token to get a free full-sized drink, which you will definitely need to calm your nerves. Highly suggest checking this place out if you're in the area, and make sure to follow for more spooky locations. Today, I'm going to take...
Would you guys do that? Let me know in the comments below. I would.
The Shanghai tunnels were originally made for transporting goods, but will forever be known for the evil things that took place underground. The ship's captains would patrol the bars on land for able-bodied men, and once a victim was spotted, they would soften them with liquor or drugs before having them go through the trapdoors that led underground. For sailors, a night out soon would turn into a nightmare. Once underground and held in cells, their shoes would be taken and glass was spread on the ground so they couldn't escape. People have reported feeling a ghostly presence down there. Maybe we'll have to go see for ourselves. Make sure to follow along so you don't.
Come with.
Did you know that?
Beneath.
Evelyn Trent was feeding her rabbits when she spotted a metallic disc-shaped object floating over their farm. She alerted her husband Paul to grab his camera, and he managed to get 2 shots. They described the object slowly hovering before it abruptly sped away. Life magazine picked up the story, and the Mcminnville UFO became a global sensation.
There's no chance of this being weather. There's no chance of this being a star or an aircraft. This is either some kind of structured object that we don't know what it is, or it's a hoax. Paul Trent and his wife, they were honest, simple, hardworking people who never made a dime off the photographs that they took. They never tried to make a dime off of it.
It just come up like that, and then it tipped, and just, I mean, really went. It went fast. I've never seen anything go so fast in my life as that thing went. Yeah.
Hey, I believe her. I don't think she's lying.
You want to know the meaning of crop circles? Yeah? Well, that's good. That's real good. Alright, listen to this. So as you know, crop circles can be found all over the world. But did you know that they are not just random shapes? Every crop circle is created with sacred geometry and mathematics. And every design has a meaning. This one is created in the well-known shape of the Kabbalah. And this one is built perfectly in the ratio of pi, 2 ancient symbols for human spirituality, the 7 chakras and the symbol for mind, body and spirit. These crop circles are of the magnetic field, and more crop circles of magnetic energies. What you need to understand is the eyes are useless when the mind is blind. Every pattern has a meaning. You just got to be able to decode it. They've even got ones that show melatonin, which is a brain hormone which supports sanity and relaxation. There's even crop circles that show the movement of the first and second sun. They've even got crop circles that show the lunar phase and the eclipse cycles. So like I said before, the eyes are useless when the mind is blind. Do you want to?
From this height, Oliver's Castle, one of the most often debated observations was made early one morning in 1996. A young man who had spent the night here and had brought a video camera with him was woken during early dawn by a humming sound.
Here I'm standing at Oliver's Castle at precisely the same spot as John Whaley was standing in August 1996, when he supposedly for the first time in history, managed to film the creation of a crop circle.
Damn, you seen it here first.
That the crop circle was not here on the previous day but had appeared on the following morning was a fact. That John Whaley was here at dawn could be confirmed by a military patrol that happened to be jogging by at the time. John went to the local pub later that same day and showed his film to the people there. Even so, many believe that he had managed to manipulate the film with computer animation in the meantime, something that computer animation experts doubt. To overlay a perfect animation over a handheld, unstable film would need several days of work using the computer equipment of that time. Even today, the film is still a great mystery, and John has gone underground due to the intense interest that his film created.
Damn, that was a crazy one. What y'all think about that? Was that real? Or did they edit that up? I don't know, man. Like he said, it'd be hard to edit with that type of technology back then, and how the orbs was spinning inside of the footage. It was shaking was very impressive. You guys tell me. I'm very interested to hear what you guys got to say in the comments.
Beneath the... We're going to see if the history that we have been given actually lines up with what we see in these pictures. So here we go. We're going to see if the history that we have been given actually lines up with what we see in these pictures.
These are all the different crop circles from all the different years.
Attention. 911. Oh my God. Look at it. Oh, it's really look at it. You tell it that way. What is going on? Are you kidding me? What is that? Someone call somebody. 911. Oh my God. Look at it. Oh, it's really look at it. What is that? It's going south.
We've been seeing those bus-like structures a lot
Southern
lately.
Illinois. Aliens. Oh, I'm not even on it. I don't know. I don't know. What is going on? Are you kidding me?
And if you actually do something with your hand like that, the crop breaks very easily and stays.
Jack Torrance is angry.
And of course, it looks fairly authentic to somebody doesn't understand crop growth.
He awoke early one July morning and found a large section of his barley field had been crushed by unknown culprits. Even worse, the formation was already drawing hordes of the curious into his fragile crop.
Real, in my opinion, that isn't real. And I had one earlier in a piece of barley, and it's pure vandalism, to be quite honest.
A large formation can wipe out hundreds of dollars worth of grain, so most English farmers try to discourage further trespassing by blaming nearly all formations on vandals, even though not one of these vandals has ever been caught in the act, nor are the alleged crimes reported to police or insurance companies.
No, not reporting the actual crop circles. What we will actually get is farmers reporting people on their land who've come to see the crop circles causing a certain amount of damage.
For thousands of foreign visitors, the best view of the circles is from the air. Small planes do a brisk summertime business. From above, it's easy to spot man-made formations, which seem to lack the symmetry of the real thing.
We get people come from Japan, Germany, Switzerland, United States, Australia even. They've all got their own theory about what's causing them.
The problem for serious researchers is to get to the crop formation sites before the word gets out. The site behind me formed just this morning, but has already drawn a crowd, and evidence is being trampled. But some startling discoveries have been made, dramatic differences between hoaxes and the genuine article. In some circles, the very cells of the plants are expanded, as if they'd been exposed to high heat. Microscopic blisters can also be seen. And electrostatic energy has been detected even days later.
I can feel it here.
What happens to the plants themselves rules out all known explanations.
We have still substantial scientific evidence, changes in the plants at cellular level, molecular level, the germination of plants that are growing 40% faster than the variety of plant they came from. These are many things that have to be answered.
For you to destroy DNA requires either high energy particles, something like high energy deuterons, protons, maybe high energy beta rays, or gammas.
Who possesses such technology? Many witnesses think there's a connection to the strange lights reported over the grain fields, lights which are often followed by military helicopters. George Knapp, Eyewitness News 8.
And if you actually do something with your hand like that, the crop breaks very easily and stays.
Jack Torrance is angry.
And of course it looks fairly authentic to somebody doesn't understand crop growth.
He awoke early one July morning and found a large section of his barley field had been crushed by unknown culprits. Even worse, the formation was already drawing hordes of the curious into his fragile crop.
Real, in my opinion, that isn't real. And I had one earlier in a piece of barley, and it's pure vandalism, to be quite honest.
A large formation can wipe out hundreds of dollars worth of grain, so most English farmers try to discourage further trespassing by blaming nearly all formations on vandals, even though not one of these vandals has ever been caught in the act, nor are the alleged crimes reported to police or insurance companies.
No, not reporting the actual crop circles. What we will actually get is farmers reporting people on their land who've come to see the crop circles causing a certain amount of damage.
For thousands of foreign visitors, the best view of the circles is from the air. Small planes do a brisk summertime business. From above, it's easy to spot man-made formations, which seem to lack the symmetry of the real thing.
We get people come from Japan, Germany, Switzerland, United States, Australia even. They've all got their own theory about what's causing them.
The problem for serious researchers is to get to the crop formation sites before the word gets out. The site behind me formed just this morning, but has already drawn a crowd, and evidence is being trampled. But some startling discoveries have been made, dramatic differences between hoaxes and the genuine article. In some circles, the very cells of the plants are expanded, as if they'd been exposed to high heat. Microscopic blisters can also be seen. And electrostatic energy has been detected even days later.
I can feel it here.
What happens to the plants themselves rules out all known explanations.
We have still substantial scientific evidence, changes in the plants at cellular level, molecular level, the germination of plants that are growing 40% faster than the variety of plant they came from. These are many things that have to be answered.
For you to destroy DNA requires either high energy particles, something like high-energy deuterons, protons, maybe high-energy beta rays, or gammas.
Who possesses such technology? Many witnesses think there's a connection to the strange lights reported over the grain fields, lights which are often followed by military helicopters. George Knapp, Eyewitness News 8.
You mean to tell me the military is chasing it? Oh, hold on. I gotta zoom in. What?
Hey, bro. What?
First, I'm gonna show.
Oh my God. There's two. Oh, a cop one.
Yo, go back to that other one.
A cop one.
Well, there's more to it. Hold on, let me zoom these boys up.
Oh my God. There's two. Oh,
Oh, that's a good view.
I
It was about to break free. Tell me it wasn't about to break free, man.
4 horas ainda, velho. Dá tempo de ir pra Lençóis, vamos na...
Mhm.
4 horas ainda, velho. Dá tempo de ir pra Lençóis, vamos dar pra Bauru ainda. Olha isso, velho. Olha isso.
Got one. Got him. Yeah, that's definitely one. Yeah. That looks like the pyramid. Oh, it says Germany. Lo encontré. Come on, bruh. Lo encontré.
UFO real. UFO real. UFO real.
Guys. I wouldn't say that's real, but they say so.
UFO real.
But I can see them having something like a closed system running outside. I can see them doing something like that.
UFO.
I could see him doing something like that though. That's the scary part. It looks like a sky train. We've been seeing those sky buses on my earlier videos. If you watch them, and that's what they look like. A literal train, UFO. That's crazy. Man, that looked like a stingray, didn't it? Look at that. That's it right there. And another thing, a private pilot ain't gonna risk going what? UAP. What does UAP even stand for? That look like the ISS, doesn't it? Why they got them screaming? Is that real?
See this?
No. Holy shit! What the hell is that?
What is happening? You guys see this? Oh my god, what the fuck is happening? What is that? What is that? See this?
No.
Things humans weren't meant to see. UFO caught at gas station. Things humans weren't meant to.
Gee, did y'all see that? That's the type of UFOs I like to see, man. Show me some crazy stuff, man.
See. UFO caught at gas station.
Creepiest and scariest TikTok. He's honking like, look at this shit, y'all.
Things humans weren't meant to see.
That's the same thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna honk, like, hold on. Maybe having a parking brake on too, like a mug.
As the plane soared above an unfamiliar region in China, a passenger gazed out of the window, capturing a captivating video. A sense of awe and curiosity filled the air as the passenger's camera focused on a peculiar sight. A disc-shaped object, about the size of a small car, effortlessly gliding in parallel to the airplane, near one of its wings. The crispness of the video allowed the viewer to perceive the details of the disc distinctly. As seconds passed, an intriguing occurrence took place. The mysterious object seemed to activate a device of some sort, creating a mesmerizing effect. Space and time itself appeared to fold around the disc, as if the laws of physics were being bent to its will. The passenger's video captured the surreal moment in all its glory, a testament to an encounter that defied conventional understanding. As the object sped away from the aircraft, its velocity accelerated to a staggering 24,000 miles per hour, leaving an indelible impression on the mind of the witness.
How does he know that?
As the plane...
For entertainment purposes only, man. If you made it this far, drop a like, make sure you're subbed up, and you hit notifications all. Hit that bell and click all so you're notified as soon as one of these drop. And some words of encouragement in the comments, man. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support, man. It just feels so good. I'm gonna keep pumping these boys out, these longer ones. I love getting on these Darkness 9 waters with you, man. It's so much fun, man. So be expecting it, man. This Oregon Trail, we did the Tartaria one yesterday, and we were digging off in the Oregon Trail, and I'm like, man, there's still some more we need to talk about on the Oregon Trail, man. And look where it led. Who knew all this stuff was popping off in Oregon? What? They had the Shanghai tunnels, the different locations with the trees and the waterfalls, the Elk Flats, the Camelot Falls, Rockaway Beach, the hiking. Drop your favorite hiking spots, man. Your boy might need to start going hiking and camping soon, man. I need some advice and some tips, man. You guys know what it is. It's your boy Jet Ski Chuck, back with another creepy, strange, and scary TikTok reaction video. Love you guys. Peace, and I'm gonna holler at you guys on the next one. Be sure to watch my older videos too. If you haven't watched all of them, I highly recommend you go back and watch them, because I got some bangers for you. Please believe it. Peace out, man. I appreciate you guys.